Riot Games Arena, welcome to our stage 2 of VCT Americas. And let's bring out our Masters London winners. Haciendo historia para Latam es Leviatán.
An incredible showing from this Leviatán lineup, Mel, in London, hoisted a trophy over their head, and here they're now, it's now the beginning, the start of their journey to get to champions.
And it's been beautiful to watch. The rookies have brought their king gold, and can they hold on to it? The Leviathan has been asleep. They've been resting since their win. But are they ready for the potential prep that other teams are going to see? There's a huge target on their back. They're being hunted. Are they going to be able to win this match and start the season off strong again?
Oh, you're so right on that one, Mel. Lots of pressure on these guys because now they know that everyone has their sights set on them.
E agora, vamos receber os seus adversários, os campeões do Loquim. Muito barulho pra Fúria!
This is a brand new roster coming out from Furia. 2 new players, Shy and Basic, coming out. I'm ready to see if they are going to get back into that same form that they had during kickoff for this first match. Are they gonna be able to come out and show that they are back in that same form, ready to show that they can take on the world champions?
Oh yeah, I mean, let's not forget, right? Furia has a tall task ahead of them here. At the beginning of the season, they were the talk of the town. Everyone was hyped on Furia, but that conversation has quickly shifted over to their opponents on the other side of the stage. But Mel, they have a great opportunity here to really just stop Leviatán in their tracks. Hey, you guys won the trophy. That's great, but welcome back to the real world here in Americas.
I mean, think of it, the beginning of the season, right? The Panther was coming and everyone doubted them.
Yep.
So this is not new ground for them to really be on. They're ready for this performance. They're ready for this game, and I think we're going to see a lot of energy coming out from both teams.
Here's your series layout: Haven, Sunset, and Split if necessary. Eyes do get drawn to Summit there. Was floated until the second round, and then Leviatán decided they don't want to play around with that.
I'm really surprised that Sunset and Summit were both let through to the end. I'm surprised neither team banned it, which makes me think that they're both practicing it, so maybe it'll come out later on in the stage. But I am really excited to see Sunset get played out here.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see maybe if we're going to see Chamber come out of LEV on this map, because of course everyone here is familiar with Neon's Chamber.
Yep.
And historically, I think this has been a great Chamber map. So I'm interested to see, are they going to bring in that tried and tested Chamber Phoenix combo that they've brought so many wins on?
Yeah, this Leviatán team, every single round always had a plan, always had some kind of trap, always had some kind of setup. And you know that all these teams had to just be combing through the VODs, Mel, because that's what you got to do at this level of the game. So how does Leviatán keep it fresh, especially considering just how much they have played out in London and how much tape is available for them?
Even going into London, there were questions about LEV Split, right? They were thinking, you know, they've shown this B main control over and over and over and over again. But what Leviathan showed at the International that they didn't show domestically was the ability to adjust and adapt. Even before the other team gets a chance to take a lick off, they're already changing what their look is. So I'm really interested to see how, with all the time they've had in between, are they going to be able to change anything?
Yeah, well, of course, Agent's now rolling in. There goes that Chamber on Haven, just as you asked. Double duelist setup for Spike and Sato. I mean, this is pretty much bread and butter right here. This is going to be a wonderful way to start things off for Leviatán as far as compositions goes. But Alexis, I'm curious on what Furia are going to run, especially considering Basics on this lineup now. Words are hard.
Yes, with Basic, they can run a lot of different things because he's such a talented flex player, and they are going to be putting him on the Omen. Wow, that's interesting. I thought for sure he would be on the second duelist, given that Artson is calling. Like, it's kind of hard to call from that spot.
It's really tough.
Yeah, this is interesting. All right, folks, we had a lot to talk about with this, but we'll for now save our thoughts and we'll send you over to 2 absolute beasts on the mic, folks. Here to kick off stage 2, it's Uber and Wyatt.
And what a way to start things here in stage 2. It's the team that conquered London, going up against the team that conquered Americas before losing their way. It was the most historic lower bracket run we have ever seen from a team at a global that led Leviatán to that Masters London title. And there are question marks abounding around this Furia squad. Who is playing where? Is Basic ready for the big stage? Could Artisan hang here? But folks, it's time to play some Valorant. It's time for a Samsung OLED match start, brought to you by Samsung OLED.
July 15th, 2022, it was the global debut for Leviatán at Copenhagen. Teammates were Shy and King, two of the greatest LATAM players in the history of the game. But Shy, teamless this year, watching from Tier 2 as King lifts that first global trophy for LATAM. But now returns with Furia to the stage, this retooled roster. We'll see what they're made of, what they've been able to do in the offseason.
Big group up here and a bit of contact taken towards that A main direction. Sato going to prevail and a refight attempted from Artazin, showing that no matter what role he's on, he is ready to throw down.
Not the first time he's played that secondary duelist. It was him and Ospas on MIBR last year when they were making some role swaps, trying to find what was optimal for the team then. We'll see if it ends up being optimal for this new Furia look.
Sato lingering towards that A side of the map and hoping to fish out a little bit more here for Leviatán, but the round has certainly slowed up. And with Shy at the helm on the B side, it's going to take more than luck just to dig this cipher out.
Sato just stunning at Masters London. Far and away the best Phoenix there. Best Phoenix in the world right now. Already with a nice little two-piece to start the game.
And Furia on a 5-loss streak in those, you know, I would say matches of consequence, right? Their Esports World Cup campaign crashed and burned despite going up against two of the eventual finalists on their road. Had to make some changes following that.
Looking at this paranoia from Basic, that should make some inroads for Furia to get into this site.
Paranoia here does catch on to Sato, but he's going to stick around. Flash into the nebula, quickly developed by King in response, and Sato inside the smoke's already found his first. There'll be a double swing off this, but Arsene's going to walk on out! It doesn't seem to matter. We're just going to pick up where we left off as Sato exits with 4.
Yeah, just thinking about any questions of how is the LEV form going to look? Are they going to just be playing at that blistering pace? All players firing on all cylinders? Yeah, that might just be the case. The form of this team at London was obviously unbelievable. Across the board, all 5 of their players had takeover maps. You can't sleep on any of them. They're always capable of clutching out of situations just like that.
Sato by far the standout Phoenix player in London.
A little buffed bandit, by the way, coming through for the first time that we're seeing at this stage. Recoil a little less obnoxious to deal with on that.
There's a 3-player stack here at C for Furia. As this smoke blooms, they're going to reveal themselves, but the Bulldog bites, and Basic has already fallen by the wayside.
One of the keys for this Furia team is obviously the Kuala Noob operator. Shaw was talking about that in the interview before the game. One of the ideas behind these roster changes was to put him in a duelist position where they're going to be feeding him that gun as much as possible. And he has been a consistently standout opper in the Americas scene, whether that be his time in Challengers with M80 or from what we saw earlier this year, Kickoff, when he was on that full-time Yoru. It was really just disrupted by that meta that we saw in Stage 1, where he was on the Phoenix, not a great operator role, and wasn't finding that same level of impact. So they are really dictating that as one of their win cons heading into this stage.
30 seconds left.
Shy and Basic already out of the mix. It's Fury in a bit of a dangerous spot in this round. And doubling back to that idea, it felt like Kuala Noob definitely was suited in a second-in role as a duelist. The Phoenix look felt very drastically different to him when he was often having to refight or make those opportunities, create that space in those hits. Shaw is putting his eggs in that basket. Yet to see much from Fury, though. That early fight over on the C side didn't favour them whatsoever, and they spent most of this round being passengers on the Leviatán Express.
We are going to see a different approach here in regards to this Stage 2 meta with the Neon. I think that's a really key factor. LEV were one of the teams that have not shied away from playing Neon post-nerf, and it's working out great for them. Furia, with these roster changes, it's just implied that they're going to move away from the Neon. You bring in Basic. He's never played an official of Neon before. Koala Noob, 70 rounds compared to playing over 8,000 in officials on Jet. So it just implies that they'll be done with that unless they put RZ on it for certain maps. But if they were to do that, you would imagine it would probably be a map like Haven, but they want the Koala Noob Jet. So they're kind of tied into playing the Jet and the Phoenix here.
Just early tech pause here, an audio issue that has to be rectified down there on the stage. Get to really see what Furia are going to be able to offer in these rounds of consequence. Now, they'll be playing the anti-bonus in round 3, so that's something worth keeping your eyes on. And something I think that was really striking about Leviatán in London is that they're really leaning heavy into what many are considering the lost art of being heavily indexed into those set plays. This is the kind of team, even in a meta where your double doors could just maybe go and make space and you react to that. They came into so many of these gun rounds with a plan, flowchart-esque execution in these site hits. And not a lot of teams, it feels like, are doing that right now. I want to think of like certain areas of like, eras rather of like Boaster's Fnatic team, or teams that Yampi was, calling for over in EMEA. But it feels like Leviatán are really reaching back into that. It feels like Onur really still fancies that style of play that's very structured.
It's one of many reasons why there's, I think, a lot of community discussion about this Leviatán team, not just being a flash in the pan, not just peaking at the right moment, but displaying that there's going to be longevity as they're approaching the game just so well from so many different directions, individually, tactically. Kind of new philosophy on the game from Onur, and just having a unit of players that have flexibility among all of them as well. I mean, even back to kickoff, yeah, at the beginning of their campaign this year, it was a slower start, figuring themselves out, getting the rookies accustomed to being on the stage. But I just remember Spike was even playing Viper then, and he was putting up numbers. They can just do it all.
And I mean, this Leviatán team had 4 players at a 1.1 rating or above for the entirety of London, right? That is quite significant. It was certainly a team effort. Sato looked incredible. Obviously, Blozin hit the clutch factor that he brought to that last series was really crucial. The fact that you can go up against a team like Paper X, lose 13-2 in your first map and still recover. The feeling is that, Leviatán just have to stay in the game. If they're still in the series, they're going to have time to solve those issues and find a way to bounce back. It's what our desk talked about coming into this game. An element of their play that felt absent up until London was that ability to adapt in-game, to make those adjustments. Something that will be tested here in Stage 2 is they're not returning to palm fronds. No one's rolling out the red carpet for them. It's shuttered windows, it's narrowed eyes, it's a target on Leviatán's back. They're sitting with a bunch of championship points now. They've got a decent buffer to be a part of Champions itself, but it's not as if the rest of Americas is throwing their arms around them and celebrating with them. They are eyeing them off as public enemy number 1.
Absolutely. Furia are one of those teams. They're one of the teams that expected so much more of themselves in that first stage, starting strong but then faltering towards the end, bombing out of the EWC qualifier, and that inspired these changes. But let's check in with EU and get his thoughts on those exact changes. It's Shy and Basic joining the roster.
Shy's pretty easy to give a description on. I played against him a lot back in 2024, Crew vs 100 Thieves. We had a mini rivalry. We played each other quite a bit. I thought he was their best player. He's still really good right now. So Shy has all the experience and everything. He's capable of being a really top tier pro. I think the only barrier between us and our current new roster is kind of a little bit of a language barrier, but we'll get over that over time. And then Basic is this, he reminds me of Kess from 100 Thieves when I played with him. He's a rookie and super new, up-and-comer, hungry, but he doesn't have a lot of direction and doesn't really know where to take his efforts and his energy. So treating Basic a lot like I treated Kess, where just kind of giving him the direction and letting him do his thing, letting him be free, not trying to put him into a cookie cutter or anything like that. Just have fun.
I mean, the way the Fury have actually made these role allocations, in this game at least, has surprised us, because I think the expectation was that Odyssey might be on smokes, you know, and not as this second duelist. Maybe some people speculating that Basic is someone who'd been quite flexible in his career in the lead up here, might have picked that role up. So you are calling now from this Phoenix position. See how that plays out obviously against King, who is more than happy to settle the score on the minimap.
Furia with their first opportunity to get a full buy online, but not enough cash to get Koala Noob the op in the game just yet.
Joke's over! You're dead!
Drone gets a peek into that seaside. Obviously, we have a runner back into Garage right now. Followed up with a fast lane, but Basic with his push out of B has relieved a lot of this pressure. Shy is able to bring Sato down, but not before he strikes and takes this Jet out of the game.
No one from LEV able to protect the body of Sato, so Artson got a free one, but the lurk timing from Neon exploits an opening in the C site.
Oh, no window to get Spike as well, and just as Shy had an opportunity, Blozine was looking in just the right direction.
Not the last example we're going to get of the outrageous firepower across the board on this LEV team. Bonus round shares does not matter. Feels like they're always just as deadly as if Bloza just had a Vandal in his hands.
Now, the tough task of getting yourself back into this site. Artesine walls him across, but takes some glancing damage from Neon. And here's a runner back, but he's going to be spotted straight away, and Neon knows exactly where he's going to re-emerge. Blozine, it's too easy to play off that exchange. That'll give Leviatán the bonus round win.
It's just so natural, the way that they set up for each other. Just flowing through the game with ease, it feels like. Against this Furia that are trying to figure themselves out, get the advantage in the round, but in that moment, the shot from Blows. And Neon finding that timing just moments before. It's a round that does devolve into individual plays to get it into a winnable position, but it's LEV. They are going to find those kills.
This is looking much like the pistol round start for Leviatán. Heavy presence to lobby. Very much on challenge for this though. Spike jumps through with Koala accosting him though with the Ghost. Flash out for Sato, player fully blind in front of him, and Artesine is downed by a shock dart. EU's about to get pretty toasty toes. Sato knows he's around that corner. Unaware though if he's crossed yet, and EU is trying to find the correct timing to slip out of this spot.
Shy just caught walking down C, getting proactive, and you could see Sato exercising discipline as that smoke came up. Doesn't have another flash, so he doesn't want to risk going through. Knows that that molly didn't actually, you know, cover that full tucked corner. That's just another aspect of the LEV game, honestly. Like, you're watching them play with such confidence, so much star power, but within that, discipline. I think Neon is especially one of the players that just exudes that trait every time you're watching him, no matter what role he's playing on.
Leviatán here are able to slowly make their way over towards this A side. They never really left long after that exchange. And while EU was able to be exfiltrated from A long and now able to make his way around the map, there is going to be some util to catch a flank. It will be virtually impossible for him to sneak up behind Leviatán. And this site is hard to retake on a good day with good weapons and even numbers wired here. Feels impossible.
LEV going to have an easy exit with that trip up behind them. Don't need to be too concerned as they get out long.
Okay. Seeing Basic here triple his frags for the game and show us a little bit of raw power. EU is able to get out with a Phantom. So some silver lining in that round for Furia. Sato's such an interesting character, you know. When he wins London, you expect him to be cartwheeling around the stage, you know, throwing up gang signs. No, he just stares calmly out of a sea of people chanting Leviatán, chanting his name. But moments like this, they win around from a save. But you better believe he's up on his feet.
Furia's second opportunity at the buy. Crucially, you just have to be paying attention to Koala. Here is that operator. The aforementioned win con by both us, by their coach. We know this is their approach to the game in this stage. Put him in position to succeed. Doesn't feel like this is going to be the round, though.
Let's hear from Leviatán as they try and hit the C side.
CT, ja. Jogou. Entra no box. Agora, Blue. 3, 2, 1. Na hora tenta pra ele, Bora. Dá pra voltar agora,
Tenta sobe do homem,
Tomei 10 smoke, Tempo agora.
Vai ficar aqui, vou ficar bom. Eu quebro o spot. Já no CT.
Obscuring vision.
Chegando muito base. Mateu.
Fecha.
Vai ter flash.
Vou furando seu contato, King. Fica de mira.
Pode ir CT, tá? Furada.
Minha, sai. 80 do homem, 80 dos dois. Direita, nem smoke. 80 dos dois.
Acho que não tem smoke.
80, Bruno.
Não vai.
Tem que... Vai. Abre.
You know, when they said they'd buffed initiators, I didn't think Fade was that good that from outside of the game, she could lights out all of us. I don't know what Ryder cooking here, but they're onto something.
Oh no, hopefully we get to, yeah, all right, we're gonna see what happens. Can only imagine it was a great clutch from Neon. Yeah, and it was. Down to the 20 HP.
All right, Ryan Games Arena, I need to see that energy for rounds you can see as well. Yeah, that is nasty.
Zato, he doesn't know. He thinks that we saw it. That's too funny.
There's a feeling about this already, though, that Furia are shaky. Basics look good in some of these isolated moments. But when it comes to putting the pieces together in these late rounds,
that last round play at the beginning of the post plant when Lev chose to get very proactive, sync up that Hunter's Fury with the flash, with the push forward. It's those kind of extremely aggressive plays that a newer team like Furia might not have that in-the-moment chemistry team play ready to react to a play like that. And they do a decent job of it. Fortunate that Basic got that kill through the wall, but still not able to capitalize. Neon just too good with this operator. Has to be the best in the world right now if you're just ranking on paper.
yeah, I mean, Rookie of the Year has been thrown around a little bit more than a little.
And that's still not enough.
Yep.
Going up.
That pick on the A side drew Furia away, forced them to give up this C side. And so far their retakes have flopped. Spike here revealed briefly, but able to get back to safety. Koala is inching his way onto the side here, but Spike's found a timing, and there's Neon chiming in with the op. In a matter of seconds, it all goes up in smoke. Leviatán drag 4 players alive and kicking, jumping out of the round.
Furia, man, they don't know whether to try to hold the sites, whether to play for a retake, and neither are working. Those moments where they're getting back in. Again, you are just seeing that chemistry from Lev, the decision in the moment to all just fight together. It's the slide forward from Spike. Locking down Garage with the op. Multiple players just swinging to delete Furia when they're running through that choke.
Gotta be a timeout here for Furia. Certainly feel like their grip on the game is being lost. And it's funny, like, we don't really consider these teams to be, like, you know, representing countries or even necessarily fully representing LATAM at times, right? This feels like less of a battle between countries than two South American orgs that are kind of arguing over which model of team building is best. And what got Leviatán to this position is, remember, when they went to retool this roster, they really led on that regional and academy talent, right? Sato, Blozine, Neon. Furia responded to adversity, last year's adversity, by going super international. Like looking all around the world, bringing Canadians into the roster, just trying to see what they could make work. So who's got the better take? Because it feels like Furia now is leaning more towards their academy options. They really wanted to get Basic into the VCT. He sat on the bench for a year to wait for his opportunity.
Yeah, just a few days off from the last time he played an official last year in July. He was one of the rookies that was promised then. And yeah, he has looked okay so far. He's had a couple moments, but can't get super involved. There's the op. There's Koala Noob doing what he does best. That is what he's known for.
This round's not going to slow down. There's already pressure being applied over towards Garage, enough to force Shy out. But he is going to be satisfied at least with that information. TP across to C also for Basic. He wants to be in position in advance. And EU, he refights the angle, and Neon is not going to let you get away with that.
That is so sick. Just switching to get the other op out. The quicker pull-out time for that. Oh
Neon.
my god, the awareness, the speed on the shots.
And look at where these eliminations have occurred for Furia. In the most bizarre positions. A walk out of B, a player getting punished spawn side, a walk into crosshairs over towards that Garage, and now LEV have just pulled out of those parts of the map entirely. And they have fully allowed Furia to fall on the sword and just commit themselves to C.
LEV just really showed
30 seconds left.
that awareness that when we take space on this one side of the map, we have Neon pushed up taking a fight. It's going to encourage someone from Furia elsewhere to try to take space, try to take a fight, try to even things up, and it's just a cascading effect of losing players that's going to result in a free round here for Leviatán, free A site, and an opportunity to just get more orbs for Sato.
And you know, the last time these two teams played, it was actually a game that was headlined by the callers. Artesian and King both fragged out hugely. Both had like upwards of 50 frags.
Okay. Love that from the observers.
Yep. We're going to go see what the neighbors are up to.
It's about
apparently.
to land on Summit.
And the question is now, can Artesian maintain that performance that we saw while calling from a duelist position? Because it does feel like when things need to change on this Furia squad, or any team Artisan's been a part of, the onus kind of falls on him to be the one to actually enable it, to change roles.
Heading into this game, that is a battle you want to see right there. Koala Noob versus Neon. Gets him with that one, but I mean, listen, Neon went for a little bit of a crazy one, but I respect it. They have a ton of money. That was a sick way to open this up, though. Unfortunately, just not enough. Neon has consistently been able to find gaps on that Garage and C side of the map. You know, whether it be that kill that allowed them to get ahead in the bonus round early, or a round like that, just exploiting open lanes and positioning himself so well.
Once again, LEV start the round with that heavy lobby presence. No contact, though, being taken by Koala Noob, despite himself still carrying this op.
There.
Was hoping for an opportunity on the Garage side of the map, one that just doesn't present itself.
Furia have the read on this situation with 3 players over on this A side to deny the hit. Molly, further delay.
Sato runs up through the molly, eventually brought down by Basic. Spike through into the back of the side. Good little adjustment here for Furia to get out of his line of sight, but there's a crossfire set up! And Furia get thrown into the meat grinder. That's just gross.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Just swinging him on skates. Oh my, they can just do no wrong.
Generally thought we were coming into a competitive match, not us trying to appease the volcano god with sacrifices in order to secure a good harvest in the next year.
One enemy remaining.
Certainly not feeling like a fair fight in many of these rounds.
Last time we saw LEV on this map, they tore EDG apart. That was a 13-5 win. And realistically, just look at the comp they're running. This gets every player on their team in a position to maximize the kills that they can get, the impact that they can have just straight up fragging. With the chamber, you got the best Phoenix right now on Phoenix. Spike is on Neon, his agent. How can you stop these guys here?
Tentative this time, Leviatán towards a long, but it looks like a round carbon copied from some of the previous ones, and that's the swing timing. EU able to get his, but it's a 2-for-1. Koala Noob though finds an opportunity to come back, but it always seems to be traded. Still, it leaves us at player parity with a Spike that's loose.
Damage not going to be enough here for Furia. Money is irrelevant. They need a round win. And the ultimate off the back of that shot could be enough to get it done. How do these Furia players position themselves, trying to link up towards long?
It's Neon at 11-3. Masters London MVP, front runner for Rookie of the Year. Many have already crowned him. And is he going to be ready for this A main presence? Okay, perhaps not quite prepared for that timing. Great kill from Shy on the backstab into a neural theft, and ultimately locks up the round.
Not even a full buy for Furia. Just making the most of the pistols that they have, the sheriffs that they have. All over that ult does such a great job over towards long.
The same idea that you've been speaking about.
Come on!
Furia players trying to take space when they see these extensions from the attack side. This time, Koala Noob isn't punished by someone hiding in a corner right next to him.
All set up. With that win on the eco, economy in a great place for Furia. They get that full buy. It's back to the Odin, back to the operator.
Gotta go.
Pacey from Lev towards this A side. Do they want to extend that pace into the execute, though?
Leviatán aware that Furia have tried to make use of this push down sewer for a late backstab on that A main presence. Ready for it!
Oh
Again, a weapon
God.
switch. Artisan going to feel pretty short-changed by that exchange. There's a wall at the back of the site, and Basic is caught inside of Molly. Welcome to VCT.
He doesn't know where to look, where to go. Oh my God, I thought I was seeing Optic Yay for a second there. The switch speed to the Headhunter is just insane.
I mean, we've seen that sort of switch speed abused more than once by the Chamber. You're not quite able to trace that chalk outline of his foes. And now, Furia are in a bind. Trying to get onto this A side is hard at the best of times. Leviatán want to try and push off of it, but it's very much a solo endeavor there from Sato. And again, Koala's able to vulture a kill in junk time. But the prospects of an actual round win here for Furia are all but extinguished.
He's gotten plenty of op kills, but unfortunately, only one of them was actually catching someone early in a round. He just hasn't been in the right spots. That time over towards C, watching Garage. There's just no hope of him getting seriously involved in a round there.
Oh, man.
Such a critical moment for Artson to lose out on.
Oh yeah, Basic, you're right. Hannes Fury pressured him, he falls back into a molly. Suffice to say, we're pretty loose out there.
Those are the kind of big execs that Lev love to just throw out there at you, and teams struggle to have responses for them. They often just have those unique little tweaks to where some of the utility is landing. They get creative with it. And how many times have we seen it just catch out a team, give them a free round?
In the broader context of this game, there's obviously like 5 Brazilians like across these two rosters, right? So not only are these two teams fighting to try and triumph here domestically, to play globally, there's also the prospect of a homecoming. At our stage finals, when we go on the road, we're headed back to Sao Paulo. It's been a hot minute since we've been there. And I know King was disappointed not to have the chance to play in Santiago in front of home fans. I know a lot of the Brazilians here would really covet a chance to perform in front of that crowd. And winning games like this is exactly how you get there.
It's this kind of win, this kind of performance that is going to inspire so much confidence in the fans in Lev to be a team that could, listen, we love to always tease and talk about eras or a dynasty or something like that, but they genuinely do feel like a team that could work themselves into that space.
It doesn't feel like it was just a favorable meta that gave them that win in London. Feels like this team has the capacity to succeed agnostic of where the game is at. When we want to build a legacy era dynasty, you got to do it with wins like these. You got to stack them together.
Hear that drop from the Phoenix and see if they can't catch a kill towards Garage.
Despite being unaware, you just got to chunk of damage there on Spike.
He was just so good for this Furia team in that stage 1. I was genuinely blown away by his performance, what he was adding to the team in terms of the communication when he would do the listen-ins, excuse me. He was just pivotal.
And he's in a good position to impact this round even more than he has. Honestly, going to try and fight into the B side, but it's a little bit early. Neon canters him up on the corner, rendezvous away. Cyber Cage here, obscuring vision. Shy playing from behind it, though, in that quick trigger timing off the tripwire lets him get a kill off the back of it. EU, you think he'd be under pressure. King digs him out eventually, but this is Furia we've been wanting to see. Fighting tooth and nail for that C side.
The Phoenix ult being used into B from Artzin. That just kind of forced Lev's hand. They want to get into that C side while it's going off, but you have Shy, and you have a little bit of a variation from Furia here in regard to just wanting to lock down this site and have the personnel to accomplish that. They've got the trip still set up, cages to play around, the Odin spam coming through. They're finally getting themselves in a position on C that's winnable. Is it just too little too late at this point, though? Lev have an opportunity to get 10 on the board, or can Furia get into a decent position with 3? Koal Noob, he's in the right spot with this operator.
It's very early too. I don't know if you're going to be ready for this. Okay, he's going to be revealed though. Has to take the shot. Now caught inside the smoke. There's a player that's dash past him, but Basics good for it. Spikes down. Neon tries to get out of the site, but there's a crossfire in effect. And will be brought down pretty quickly. Blozine left to salvage, very much alone here in a 1vx scenario. And he will be cut down as well.
Love that quick response from Furia, helping Koal Noob towards short. Basic does a great job supporting his teammate. You have EU getting into heaven to control towards long. Again, just spamming with that Odin in the right position, much like he did on the last round towards C. He's crucial in being able to hold these sites. And Furia able to string a couple together, starting to see some quicker decision-making, some fast teamwork, players supporting each other well. And maybe if they can get a pistol round on this second half, they could get something going.
Absolutely, and again, all those 5 losses we've had up until this point could well evaporate with a big win here. And this looks a bit more composed from Furia in this round. This definitely forces the issue. Blozine very much taking a solo 1v3 up on that site. Didn't really feel like he had any other option. And so, we head into this first half. 9 rounds for Leviatán. Looks imposing. But a pistol round, we will have Furia right back in this game. We'll see how it goes down after this.
Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up here. It all started when I got to the FIFA World Cup. And wow, thousands of Verizon customers.
Oh, you got the free Verizon tickets too?
No, I'm... with amazing seats.
I'm sorry. Okay.
And even pitch side access.
Are you? David Beckham, a Verizon customer.
This used to be for players. Now it's for Verizon customers. No one gets you closer. Only on Verizon.
For LEV, you guys crowned yourself champions in London. You crowned your IGL king, and I guess you crowned yourself too. But I want to know, Sato, what is next in the script? It feels like you know it.
Yeah, I think for next, we're gonna create a dynasty, and King is gonna be our dictator. So we're just gonna win everything, basically.
Actually, you know what's next in the script? You guys getting me one of those jerseys. Thank you, guys.
So it does take about 8 rounds for Furia to find their feet, but a foothold at least they've constructed for themselves heading into this second half on Haven. Artazine calling from a duelist position here on the Phoenix. Nice couple of sequences in the last few rounds, but it certainly felt like EU, much as he was in stage 1, has been the engine room for this team in this map so far.
real hallmark for me of this Furia team in kickoff just coming into this year, and we saw it for that first half of stage 1 as well, is that it always seemed to me they had this inherent chemistry. The team really was the island of misfit toys, players from across the world that couldn't find a home, yet they came together and it was working.
Yeah,
they
for no reason, they were great.
And we started to see flashes of that on the last couple rounds of this half, the way the players were supporting each other when they were anchoring those sites, really entrenched. But can that carry over?
Lev here, of course, moving over to the defense side. Neon wants this pretty aggressive early position, which he can always fall back off with the trademark. And there's some touch and go here for Fury as they make their way towards Garage. So likely a bit of biff on that part of the map. They might just try and overload this. Here's the pressure. Okay, well, Nova Pulse was going to be there anyway, but Spike's able to take the head clean off Koala Noob's shoulders. And as quick as it started, Fury are forced to go elsewhere.
EU was slowed down as Furia are just trying to deal with Neon. They can't do it. Oh my god, he had the opportunity.
All right, EU patient. Sees the drift out there, but Arzine is brought down, blows in from Heaven side, able to shut down that A probe, or at least most of it. It's the foothold inside B, though, that now Fury are leaning into.
30
EU
seconds
again
left.
will be the fulcrum point here. Into the back of the side.
Just wants to catch one of these rotators so badly. He's so patient, waiting for them to get baited in by the tap sound, and he's able to get that first.
There's just no trade there. Blozine not in a position to intervene until now, and he's going to be traded out by Basic, who's down to 3, and there's the slide from Spike. It's up to Shy, who after all these years has come home to see his old house has more than just a new coat of paint, apparently. It's old versus new, then and now, as Neon shuts him down.
Shy just forced to go for it because of the spike position, and Lev don't even try to stick it. They are just ready to fight him together and worry about that spike later. EU just absolutely trying his best to put his team in a winnable position. Finds that B pick, tries to get entrenched back sight, catch one of the rotators into sight. When that spike is being planted, it's just not enough though. Furia find themselves quite disconnected from each other in that mid-round, and trying to put the puzzle pieces back together that late, it's just such a difficult task. They're not able to get it over the line, and not even going to force here.
But the loss of that pistol does mean that the buffer virtually evaporates for this Furia team. Now they've got to see what they can get. Full save in this round. Sato's going to be forced out of that garage position, and very quickly they're going to make sure there's a foothold in C, so they don't have to retake through the backside smoke. It's a bit of a stack here. A double face could undo this garage play, but Shy at least is able to trade through. Furia are beaten black and blue though. They're bleeding out here. Spike in hand, yes, but Garage is about to be re-cleared, and you know that B position's about to be shored up as Neon saunters across and sees Basic on his last legs, being forced to turn tail and run.
It's over.
For a time.
Trades weren't horrible from Furia towards Garage, but they can't recover the guns. They're deep in the sea. If there's one thing I want to highlight from that round, though, again, it's a moment of discipline from Lev. They are up 10-3. They're dominating. They're up against all classics. But Sato starts feeling some pressure when he was up top in Garage. He has the Guardian close range. He doesn't even want to play around with that situation. He just gets his way back into the C site to support King in the best way possible, who was pushed into long with that judge.
And they set up a double swing on the Garage push and smash it.
There's just no ego playing as a team, even when they're in this dominant position.
Arzine shocked down to 41 after being pinged in that corner. It's going to be hard to hit that A side with confidence now after that exchange. But Leviatán, again, leaving the rest of the map well enough alone.
In the first half, it was a buy just like this from Lev, where they were able to win that third round. It was share of headshots ringing out.
You're kidding me. Going back for that is a little unhinged. So EU's going to be gifted a way into this round for Furia. Blozin might find himself in a position he cannot extract himself from. Is it more than a one and done though? We're about to find out. Off angle taken, good for one. Where's the backup? There is none, and it doesn't seem to matter. Blozin not just up 2 kills.
That's just completely outrageous.
Look how quickly Sato's getting to the side. He wants to fight for this smoke here, but I think Spike's just going to plate through it, and he takes the frag. Sato down. EU now. He's hoping for the Neon to still be there.
Spike, low HP, just slips out, and it's creating a situation where they might be too focused on him. What is Spike going to do? And all the while, King is just slow and silent on this rotation through short.
As long as he doesn't overplay his hand here. Diligently checking all of the likely spots, and now he's narrowed it down to hell. Oh yeah, he knows. There's an overpulse coming through, follow up. It's going to have to be King to do it all. And Basic says no, he'll take 4 frags from this round. And keep a pulse in Furia's veins.
Stunning round from Basic on his debut. Keeps Furia in the game. He's had a couple nice moments. This one, the highest impact. Stunned up as well here. No HP.
Nice! Basic!
Let's go.
Good shit, man.
Round 16. And again, it's that early A presence for Furia. This time, LEV, though, have left a little bit more than just Blozin in their wake. Kuala Lumpur not necessarily stuck, but there's a gap in the blaze wall that can be exploited. Neon not quite quick enough to the click.
Yeah, that was a little sidestep from Koala that keeps him alive. Didn't swing out too far there. Nice job from the team to be able to extract him out of that position, pivot into this fast B execute.
Relay bolt is the answer from Spike. This is just to buy a bit of time. If nothing else, he's going to get out back through that molly. Blozin's dealt with Artazine already, but Kuala Lumpur is deep and entrenched in this side. Sato, though, fighting for it. He'll be knocked out of his ult. We take a beat here as Leviatán set up to surround this B side, and there's Neon! This time, he'll strike true.
The presence he has on the map with his operator is just suffocating to play against. Any angle you peek, you know you are in danger.
Yep. Timing not quite there for King, but he's able to extend into that elimination. So it's on EU, fully surrounded.
Oh my God. It's just disrespectful with the fast swap again. It's just illegal.
I mean, you have that in
filthy, man.
You have an internal count for like what the weapon switch timing is going to be. That's not the first time that EU's been blasted by that faster switch timing from Chamber.
And there's this decision in the mid-round from Spike that kind of keep entrenched, fight back in that site. He had a nice relay bolt to keep the attackers at bay, to keep backside control, and then you have Sato running in with the ult. LEV are just so quick to support each other. It's that instant decision. We're flooding, we're holding, we're fighting together, and Furia are just choked out front sight. They can't get any control of the space. Now they're on their last legs. LEV on the precipice of an absolutely dominant win on their return to the stage.
This Hell Drone has actually got Sato moving a fair bit in towards Garage side. He considered falling back to C. It might be a longer wrap. Shy, the kind of player that's tough to get the better of in scenarios like this, and Sato had the knives out. Still Spike seen in an unexpected spot. He's already managed to wrap around. He's going to be threatening C-Long in just a moment. Artfully developed blaze wall here for Artazine will let him sneak back towards spawn.
I love that wall. Just to get the additional position, set up a crossfire in the moment that's essentially uncrackable for LEV.
Timing there for King could be a problem in terms of creating a backstab angle on C.
One enemy remaining.
But EU has been stalwart this round, waiting for the game to come to him.
Positions around the map there from Furia were really solid to exploit all of LEV's movements. Catching player after player to keep them alive.
Leviatán really wanted to push out of garage there. Sato being undone at this early stage of the round feels like it limited the defender's flexibility. And Spike did get one kill on that wrap through, but EU was well and truly ready.
Long road ahead for Furia. Economy still strong enough that the operator is again in the hands of Neon, who is just effortlessly ruling over this server. Artston now with the quick ult into this B site. Furia want to increase the tempo on a Spike.
Okay, Spike, he can buy some time with this relay bolt, just as he has before. Reaches for the overdrive and through the blaze wall. Koala with a shocking reception. And all of a sudden, that confident thrust towards B has been entirely shut down. Lev can read this tempo and slow things down as well.
Just in addition to the player presence, they throw out the wall from Astra. Any hopes of getting into that B site? Fully cooked. Furia are forced into a rotation.
Functionally, this does reset the round. And there's an Aldrone here checking A, just making sure that no one's taken up from the attacker side in that site while the wall was up. And there's a drift back towards B. This line's going to be watched by Spike, but he's forced off of it as well because of that recon. Shy gets in, flash out instantly. Spike's going to fight for it straight away, and Sato with the back of the side is definitely cooking something up here. Paranoia from Basic doesn't seem to have affected him, but the curveball certainly did. Neon at point blank range, though, was able to extract Artazina now to 2v2. Leviatán have to fight in a post-plant world. And Art's Fury comes out pretty early from EU.
He's got that ult ready to go. One shot would deal with Neon. Oh my god, he's closed the gap, but Basic is ready.
Basic's won a lot of these rounds for Furia from very low health positions. It was an early Hunter's Fury there, in fairness, for covering the post-plant from EU, but he can do it himself with the shock dart as well. Bozine sidesteps it, doesn't have the breathing room here. We'll take a frag on EU as a constellation. But Furia take another step back into this map.
You and Basic just play out that 2v1 with a lot of necessary patience, ensuring that they get that round win, ensuring that they stay alive in this first map. Leviatán just have so many chances to close out the game, though. 6 opportunities. This next round, going to be one of the tougher ones. They're not able to put together a buy, but it goes without saying that this team is so dangerous no matter what weapons they have. Neon still has that headhunter. It's all out from Lev into the lobby. And Koala is caught by that util sync-up trap play.
Yeah, Leviatán going to have to be satisfied with the limiting of player numbers, but tour de force in the game.
Deploying drone.
The Leviatán arsenal is a bit more powerful than it might seem. Shy's been left as an insert and has to hope this dark cover continues to protect him from sight. It does. Leviatán are not convinced that Sewer is clear.
Furia just able to silently work into this C site. They have Shy as a contingency across the map.
Artazine inching across, has the better weapon. King had to have his wits about him. All right, there's Shy back in the site. Now, Neural Theft here is going to reveal the plans for Leviatán. Give you some confidence, but look quick into the back of the site. Go Leviatán, the slide on in from Spike that was cut short. Sato at point blank, finds his share of frag. We're 2-on-2 right now as Basic takes some spray through that blaze wall and Blozine is able to get across. He gets an upgrade. Blaze wall's about to come down and Blozine was imagining a clutch moment from him, but again it's Basic, the foil to Leviatán's late round plans.
Despite Lev being in control of this game the entire time, still feels like a solid debut for Basic. He's proving his worth in this game. He's closing out the important rounds. I like that acceleration that we saw from Lev as well. They know Shy is across the map. He just kills Neon on A. So they're in the 3v2 bad weaponry, but it's time to go. So much pressure on the 2 Furia players who are stuck in that site. Man disadvantage, but they make it work.
Deploying drone.
Much more passive A-side presence for Leviatán this round. Bozzy would love to imply it's more than just him over there, but the Owl drone gets shot up pretty quickly. Sato coming in to reinforce this A side now, try and get into the site, avert a post-plant scenario. Brought down by Kwanu, floating over the top. Blozine has to buy a bit of time. It looks like the Chamber's been able to get into the site. Neon is here. Blozine's brought down through the wall and Spike sliding in. Always good for one in spots like this, but from hell it gets a bit harder. And he secures that kill. Only 8 health left on the Neon. And now Leviatán are forced out of the site.
There's a retake attempt, a risk that Leviatán want to take right now. Furia are legitimately closing the gap. Is this a save in the 2 versus 3? Maybe just a moment where Lev are hoping to find that pick, that opening, and then go for it. If they can't, they'll just make their escape.
Head spotted there, but only a glimpse. King's able to find a frag! And all of a sudden, this might be on for young and old. King's thinking about it, that's for sure. Onto the site, Recon has to be shot though. Very, very low is King through that smoke. EU is full health, armed to the gills, and ready to give Furia their 8th round. King just doesn't have the time! And so into the crosshair, he walks.
EU steps up for the team again. Crucial trade kill into backside. Clutches it out. He has just been that guy for Furia.
Kuala has to play first up in that round.
One enemy remaining.
Just get into the site, find a kill. It was Sato who's belatedly shoring up that position.
Let's go, baby.
Taken down by the Blade Storm. And that's the inroads there for Furia they make use of. And they have walked this game back to within 4 rounds during a timeout from Leviatán.
That's the first time this game. They're kind of making Lev sweat. They're forcing Owner to take a timeout. 4 opportunities Leviatán have to close this game out from here. Furia are beginning to deny these attempts of Lev to flood back into the site. They're effectively trading. Spike goes in, he gets his 1, but EU is just right there to deal with him.
Shy in this game, quietly, but doing his job. Often that solo player on an extremity. Getting info with Neural Theft, trying to at least get his. Going up against this Leviatán team and these new additions who helped take this team further than he ever could. I'm quite sure to start your re-entry to VCT Americas, taking a win over these upstarts would give you a spring in your step for the rest of the stage.
Lev at the point with the loss bonus where they can just keep forcing into these rifles.
A pretty determined util usage here at lobby forces Furia out entirely early. It's going to limit their options in the mid-round somewhat unless they re-clear that space pretty specifically.
Keep in mind, now that we're at this point in the game where Lev are just going to be buying into rifles, Neon, not enough cash for the AWP. He's going to be stuck on the rifle with lesser armor.
This might be a good read from Furia if there's an A-side re-hit, with the assumption that Lev have sort of pulled players off that side of the map. Given that Furia would have to spend util to re-clear the space. Blozine's confirmed that they are there. Now, this is a scenario where Furia have managed to win rounds in this half on the A side. But they're being a bit slower about it this time.
Cage triggered.
Into the smoke, and King is waiting. His old protege.
Spike drop.
That's just an effort as well to make it seem like more pressure could be coming towards that garage side. But they're in on A. Tough site to retake, but Leviatán have an advantage. And they've got ults to get in as well. They can combo up, use that Hunter's Fury with the run it back.
So far the game plan for Leviatán is just to contain this A side. Nothing wagered, nothing gained. You've got to go for it at some point. I've already heard Hunter's Fury come out from Blozine. Artesian got to be gunned down there. Sato knocked out of his ult. So just a 1-for-1, but this knocks Furia now down to 3 players, and with the overdrive coming into the side, Spike had to find a connection early. EU tries to respond with a Hunter's Fury, but this is going to be definitely sidestepped and leaves him all alone. In the last round of the map, it's Sato to claim the frag. And Leviatán are bringing more than just a message from London, perhaps a reckoning for the rest of their region. Haven started off maybe in a way that many people expected, with Leviatán frankly just being dominant. They got out to that 8-0 lead on the first half of the map, but then things started to click a bit for Furia. They get 3 rounds at the end of that first half. Yeah, it's still a struggle, but hey, they were on the defense side. See them switch sides, and yeah, a lot of the same elements that were giving them value earlier were still present. Basic looked really good in his debut. EU still looked to be the guy on this team. And frankly, Artazine looked reasonably good in the Phoenix role. A big switch up for him, at least from what we've seen in the past. But as we head to Sunset, this is a map that traditionally has been unbelievable for Neon. Do Furia have a Neon player? Because you sure as hell know Leviatán do, and will.
On paper, they don't have someone that is a hard Neon main. The closest is Artazine, and he is going to be on Omen, the controller role that was discussed by Shaw in the offseason when they made these moves, that he wants to be on controller so he can be their IGL. The real shock is the deadlock. The double sentinel with the deadlock starting on attack. This is a rare look. Leviatán, I don't think there's a whole lot to say about it. It's kind of what you would assume they would play. Maybe Sato would be on Raze because this is a good Raze map too. But it works for Phoenix, and he is the best Phoenix in the world right now. So just keep it running. We have everyone on Lev on our comfort roles ready to run around and shoot everybody.
So now we know that on the maps where Furia want the double duelist, it's Artazine. Now, moving over towards the controller, which is something that you would have found in an interview if you'd sort of poked around in the last week or so, that this was kind of the plan for Artazine. So starting as a duelist, then as a sentinel in VCT, now controller.
Sato screaming the game didn't even start yet. Nothing happened.
This is what I'm saying. And then when he actually wins something big, he's just stun mullet.
Man standing.
Yeah, man standing.
Let's see if this Furia comp is hard-hitting enough on attack to not just get into these sites, but playing against the Lev team that's going to flood to brawl with them backside. If they have the comp able to do that, lacking a second duelist.
I'm going to beat this storyline to death, Wyatt. Shy was the one that helped write Leviatán's first international chapter. He put this team on the map, and now he's opposite players who are writing their greatest chapter. He's coming back to see them after so long with this infusion of young talent and going, man, why couldn't I do that with King, with this roster?
It's a Leviatán team that are, feels like maybe just at the beginning of the legacy that they're creating. This is just their first match coming back from that London win, first match of America's Stage 1, and they're off to a great start.
Yeah, we acknowledge that they've sort of made that big first step with a big statement, but it's the volume of victories and results that they have to amass to turn this into an era, as people are using. I use air quotes. Furia, they're not even close to that point. They're trying to give themselves a foundation, a starting point, an identity.
Moving away from a team, a roster that was working, that they found success with. It's a bold move. Is it actually going to pay off for them?
I'm out of here.
First contact, the spike off the line, and oh, a grab next. The follow-up is there as well. Beautifully done, a nice little set piece. It's going to get Furia off to the races on this B side.
30 seconds left.
That is so sick. King is trying to retain some control of backside. A lit up Spike is going to try to get into the mix if he can.
I like this idea, first mover's advantage, picking up that Sunset as soon as it comes back into the pool, try and make it your own. Now I'm interested for more of what Furia have on this attack side. Against a team known for their sheer volume of set plays, they fight Leviatán off, and they'll take this pistol.
Pretty sick way to open the game.
I'm about it.
You've seen the deadlock value straight away.
I want to call your memory back to the Challengers trenches of 2024 when we were seeing deadlock comps against these Neon setups to really stop them in their tracks. You just see it on Bind all the time. TSM, M80 teams are really trying to work this deadlock into their comps. She has the insane level of stopping power that will matter against a team like Leviatán who wants to move with that pace.
Of that pace, they're going to get right into this B main fight, try to get an orb in the hands of Sato. They are relentless right now.
Basic might have to get off this line, he knows this. Not much value in pushing any further, but Shy was able to extract the kill. That's spiked down. And Furia realized they can still go for this. Leviatán took a ton of damage in that exchange. So much spam. Blozine and Sato down to some really low health, and Blows is just, a little push, and he's in the abyss.
What a great call from Furia there, just understanding that it might be time to go for the pure, silent contact and re-walk in. They get all of that space for free. It's vacated by LEV after the early aggression.
Trying to retake against Deadlock.
Yeah, that's a nightmare. That's where the Deadlock really shines. It's kind of funny that the first example of her is super effective for getting into the site and getting kills, because typically that's one of the harder parts of using her kit on attack. It's when you get into that post plant, you get the wall up, you get the sonic sensors up. That's when things can get really frustrating to deal with her. We're going to see LEV, I mean, with this comp, they'd be flooding in to fight back sites anyway. But against the Deadlock, you definitely don't want to give her ample time to get that util down.
And normally...
What?
Oh, that's not good, guys.
What?
No!
Oh, I mean, the holy disaster that just came out of nowhere.
Okay. That is certainly going to burn a hole in your pocket. Here's that early exchange. A lot of spam early. Blows was down to 7 at that point. Basic just cleaning up. Just imagine. Society would be a utopia if you took 3 guns out of that round. Even just 1.
It's all good. They've still got enough to get the buy going. No worries. Fast towards A. Recon gonna light up Blows, and that will encourage Furia to take this early elbow control and maybe just push the pace further. But if they do, Leviatán have been able to get that quick rotate, and the desire to refight has Spike meeting his end.
Yeah, Sato not able to play off him adequately at all, and Basic's going to pick him up here. It's Furia that have been the ones dictating the pace, and the execution is about as clean as it gets. So this is a very early annihilation for Basic.
In the midst of all of that, gets the annihilation, gets the wall down towards Link. No one can rotate in to help. No one is going to be able to free Blows from the cocoon. LEV tried to push the pace there, but it works completely against them, as Furia just have the numbers, and they're ready to face in elbow.
Alexis is saying earlier on the desk she's surprised that both Summit and Sunset get through the first round of bans, and she speculates that one or both of these teams must be working on those maps actively. I think we know who's been applying themselves on Sunset in the break. Some good looks for Furia, and 2 very varied approaches to these last couple of rounds.
Honestly, heading into this game, I expect it to be a really good map for Leviatán as well. They have like the exact personnel
Feels tailor-made for them
to play this. Yeah.
The spacing there, though, leaves a bit to be desired, I think. We don't even see Sato in that moment.
That is Basic, the flex player that they were touting him as coming into this roster. Saying that that is the aspect of the roster that needed fixing. They needed someone that could move to a lot of different agents.
The subtext is that they couldn't abuse the Neon Judge anymore and needed a bit of a different fit.
And as the meta stands, yeah, it feels like not having a hard Neon player, you might be at a deficit. But are Furia just going to be able to put comps together, strategies together that are so effective without it that it won't matter for them?
Double Sentinel comp means you're pretty flash light. So we're seeing a lot of this slow, silent walk up from Furia, trying to play from behind that top mid smoke. They're going to be leaning on Artisan's utility to take space, as opposed to fast pops with those flashes that they don't have.
And this, the raise for Koala Noob, I would say historically you would label that as his second best duelist. Has a lot of reps on it throughout the past several years. One of the players that has just been grinding for what feels like forever. Through Challengers, playing in EU with Navia now. Back to Americas. This Furia team really trusts him. They really want to put him in position to be the linchpin of this squad.
Neon's going to have to settle for just some damage here. The Seize is great for buying time. And Brozine was supposed to be the benefactor of that stall, but he actually gets taken down by Eve as soon as he gets up onto short on his Artisan onto the side. With a spring in his steps, able to take the first, but Spikesy will fight backside and he will fight them all. Just 2 for him as he exits.
That time was more than narrow for Furia, but they're able to get it down regardless. If Spike had gotten that transfer, probably would have been round done. The Basic is able to deal with him. And now it's on Furia to close this out. Man advantage. That paranoia is good, but EU is right there for the swing, and there's far too many angles for Sato to watch as Furia are able to pounce on that opportunity. Multi-swing, putting an end to that round. And any effort that Lev had to be able to capitalize on a lower buy there. They got close, but just wasn't enough.
Certainly wonder if we're heading in towards timeout territory here for Onuru. We didn't see one called until the second half of Haven. But Leviatán are the kind of team I watch pretty closely coming out of those breaks because their sort of ability to lean on a lot of set plays.
We're looking at a round where Furia can seriously build on this momentum. They have to deal with Neon's operator, but that's on the opposite side of the map. They are just ready for this straight up B execute.
A lot of deployables here already. Aldrone. Bombardie gets out on the side. Sato readying a flash here. Artisan trying to space this smoke correctly, but Sato gets in and then gets on out. Spike's been lost though. He's a runner back to refight for this space, and this is a great answer to the Phoenix. Sato has to bring the wall down, flash forward, try and find something before his time is up. And he can't get much done.
I love that patience on display from Furia. They get through that choke point. Kind of bogged down for a moment. There's that paranoia from King, a bit of stall utility in the choke. But they play it patiently. They're able to deal with the Lev players that are attempting to flood back in. They don't overplay their hand.
Teleport's ready.
Neon gets his. But a jubilant roar from the Furia side of the stage as the Panthers have been flawless so far. And you know that normally the response from a team at Lev's position is to try and play ahead of these retakes, try and play ahead of the control util. But we saw them try and play some defensive pops that actually got shut down by Furia, having good crossfires and being ready to fight for that space.
Furia are just aware of the Lev game plan, what they're going to have to do against this deadlock, and like I said, what they'd be doing anyway with this comp, getting so aggro on defense, flooding into the back sites and fighting. So there is no rush from Furia. They are just slowly making their way through that choke, throwing that wall down towards market, and patiently waiting for the Lev players to expose themselves. And they're just ready on those angles together to deal with anyone that is swinging out on them. They've been able to accomplish multiple good site execs off the back of that. It's got them in a commanding lead. And you're just looking at Basic at the top of the board right now, 9-2. Was supposed to be a star rookie player from Brazil last year, making his debut with Furia Stage 2. Visa issues, could just never play. And that other crop of talent were able to. Spike coming up last year at the same time. Sato joining up in Stage 2, right? And Basic is just on the bench, just waiting.
And after a year of waiting, the hype around him certainly fizzled out, right? There were other players, rookies coming into VCT, an infusion of them this year that kind of stole the spotlight. So Basic comes in later than he'd hoped, after the sort of expiration period of the hype around this new prospect had sort of, come into effect. But he is out there generating his own hype for himself today.
I'm out of here.
Out of this timeout, Lev make an effort to get Spike this ult so they can get together a reasonable buy here while ensuring that they have enough cash for the rest, ensuring that Neon can get that operator crucially.
Cover going out.
But here's the approach from Leviatán. Again, it's just to give mid entirely, but try not be shut off of either of these sites early, though. You're going to make great use of the space he's been afforded. Just posts up there with a line towards top mid, pulling another player off B.
Yeah, you one of the guys hates to see those outlaw nerfs coming. He was abusing that gun crazy in kickoff in Stage 1. Furia really one of the teams, I feel like this whole year, that were most heavily interested in abusing all of the annoying guns, the Neon Judge, constant outlaws, heavily playing into whatever was meta at the time, but now having to completely subvert that expectation because of the roster moves that they've made. They have to get a little bit more inventive, and it's working out right now. Can they deal with Neon posted on this close angle as the time is getting low? 20 seconds to get into this site and get that spike down.
I mean, that's pretty perfect. Neon's able to get off the line. Well, the owl drone was an issue for him. Now trying to fight back into the site. Leviatán, no, they can't just leave this over to a retake, but it could be tough. There's a foothold now at the back of the site. EU going to be traded out by Blozine, who is there in time. And now Nightfall is going to be deployed. This likely will force at least basic off, but there's a cocoon that needs to be shot. Sato is in trouble, and Blozine allows him to be devoured by Shelob, apparently.
That annihilation, perfect. The cam from Shy just keeping Blows occupied.
Can't ask for much more than that for Furia.
Can't use that.
Land the plane perfectly in the round, and another great deadlock ult.
How impactful has this util been from Basic? Every execute, we're watching the wall get value. Both annihilations have resulted in a kill in a very important moment as well. Not just a throwaway ult, significant in the rounds that they've been used.
6 rounds to the good. It's been a very different tale for Furia than what we saw on Haven. Fruits of their labor, perhaps in the break, coming to the fore now. Balls in Leviatán's court to make the difference. Okay, grab that, catch the spike, but there's a trade. Sato able to get something done. Let's listen into Furia now as their push on towards his A side starts to crumble.
One spawn. I can't kill, bro. Sure.
Phoenix is low.
Nice, both there. We have V, Shy. We have bomb.
It's pushing you, bro.
You guys got B.
They're one off Phoenix.
Nice, Dan. Last one was there.
Just call, bro, okay? Just call.
Yeah, he's running. He's pushing Dan, He's...
Off mic.
Can you hold my bottom mid?
Yeah, I got top mid. He's pushing you, 100%?
Yeah, he was on him,
Hold bottom mid.
I called him tight for you.
Out in the corner.
Spike down mid.
I hit him 80. He might have healed though.
Yeah, I think he did.
Don't take my flash.
Good shit, bro!
Oh, I need to.
And that is the closest that Leviatán have come to taking a round here. Sato would have had to ace to get there, but Shy is able to deliver.
Shy, one of those players throughout his career that I always looked at as excellent in the late rounds. So reliable. Those years that he was on crew, where you would have Kesnet opening up rounds, and then you would wait for Shy to be able to close them out. It was shocking to so many people that despite being one of the historical best players from LATAM, he couldn't find a spot on any team at the beginning of this year. One of the best free agents that has just been waiting around. Again, it's the set play. Walloop is in and Sato is caught. It's outrageous. The teleport behind from Martin at the same time.
What a mess this round has been. Leviatán still with 3 up, but a lot to work through now. TP came across Walloop, realizing that was a bit of a fake, and it's Neon's tour de force that chimes in. This time takes Shy off the board, and through the boxes, Artazine. Riddled with shrapnel. We're in a post plant, though. Leviatán have a lot to put together with 3 low health players. And a timing that for Neon didn't quite connect. The shot, though, is still good. And it leaves it all on EU. Surrounded, but with some breathing room and a chance to fall back here towards Ali's side. Some damage on Spike could be finished off here with a shock dart. Oh, Spike not falling back far enough. All this util still at EU's disposal. He can even recon the site. Get that info now, has to fight King, is still a wrap around the corner. EU can do this, but time is of the essence. Neon's forced to get off the defuse though, and EU keeps him busy, catnipping him off of the objective.
EU in prime form today. Back-to-back Furia clutches keep Lev at 0 on Sunset. And back-to-back Furia open the round with this crazy little set piece. Early on the A side with the net going through, the paranoia, Koala this time the double satchel and the showstopper. Mental round opening. And Furia have the closers on this roster.
Clutch moment powered by Red Bull, brought to you by Sova Util and Ice Cold Nerves. Kind of sick to have all your kit in that last moment, I will say. Furia is still that guy, man.
They waste no time pressuring Market. But Spike with full confidence wants to put the team on his back, finds that opener.
Now Leviatán still don't have a real mid presence, still don't want to risk moving into that tiles position or moving into that sight line. There's a contact opportunity for Blozine on this A side, as Fury have really cut noise here.
Shy trying to take advantage of the noise on the other side of the map to get some space. And he best King.
Not the kind of fight you expect him to win out on, but it is Shy after all. 20 points of health, but still plenty of step to this B side. Spike is eventually making its way over there.
Shy has just been unwavering
30
in his
seconds
attack
left.
side lurks. Constantly taking advantage of open space. It's completely thrown Lev off.
He was able to get back around the corner in time. Shy expected the challenge at that angle, his elbow protruding. More than enough for Sato to complete the frag, and yeah, inside the craft net, he's unbothered. But Basic found a nice little off angle. Knows that Sato is still lurking back aside. Is he ready for Blozine and the double face here? Man, his confidence is overflowing.
Oh, just wanted to go for the kill. Doesn't have the time to actually get the spike down. Just runs away. Ace gonna get that all recovered. Lev finally stopped the bleeding. First round on defense.
That is a symptom of a lot of these slow walk-ups, these mid-round noise cuts. You're slowly scaling up map control because you're not flashing, you're not popping, you're not aggressively fighting in crossfires. The round can just get away from you.
I feel like everyone watching that moment had 100% belief that Basic was going to win that out the way he's been playing. 14-5 right now. He's making a name for himself today.
There's a smoke deep top mid here by Fury that has actually drawn a couple of Leviatán players to that position. Originally there were 3 ready for contact on A Wyatt. So this has got them moving, scurrying about. Here's the hit over towards this A side now, trying to play from shorter. Sato! A quick double is going to be good. And if last round's anything to go by, GrabNet's not an issue, but the Annihilation could be. It's Neon though. This is looking a bit more like Shades of Haven now. The trade's coming in at the right times. Sato again inside, run it back. He will return to an obvious location, and Basic's aim is true. EU's got the drop on King. And Furia continue their march to an overwhelming round total in this first half.
That was crazy from Sato. Pops to run it back so he can live, but no one can actually get there to help him. Gotta respect the effort, though. If somehow that all worked out, it would have been a sick moment.
And it might have, honestly, if not for the deadlock wall at short. There was no safety in any of Leviatán taking up that position to try and trade off Sato after the cocoon and respawn. Weird round.
Because Fury invoked that tactical round loss where they almost kill everyone on Lev and end the extra cash they're getting from losing, they are right back onto an eco with mostly classics.
Kwanu's been able to clear the back of the site here with their paint shell.
Down B.
And again, you're up against the double Senti. It's always a dangerous spot to be put in, but Lev have had no choice. They don't have the weaponry in this kind of round. Here's the push from Spike. Kwanu's comfortably set in the corner. Satchel to knock Sato. Of course, he's leaping and bounding at him like Bambi and gets the frag. But that's all that Leviatán can hang their hat on for this round.
You just has Shy's back, but Neon is able to get that kill.
2? Now in a 2v1. Fury are cut down to just Basic, but he's patient, waiting for King to show. It is just a jiggle. Basic trending over towards the other side of the site, but Neon has slid through and is able to get out alive. They are trolling this guy, but it's got to be a defuse at some point, and they know they've got to fight Basic. And he's looking like a raid boss right now. Sprays King down. And the Red Bull clutch for the long-awaited newcomer.
Unstoppable right now. Makes up for that last round where he was so close to getting the clutch as well.
He's 18-5, bro.
It is just outrageous.
One enemy remains.
But I feel like he's really in this great position to get kills because of the pace that Furia are playing at. They are so patient on these entries. And you have to credit, I think, Koala Noob to that as well. He's not getting ahead of himself, and as they slowly take this space, Basic is just constantly in good positions to be able to get that like second swing, trade for people consistently. That's why he's always alive late in the rounds. And his aim has just been sharp.
Neon has the op back in hand. Weapons available here for Leviatán. This is getting messy though. Spike quarters out of grab net yet again. Still able to find a kill. Amidst the blind, amidst the hindrance. Artazine though tries to find a nice little position up on high, but the blaze wall does tickle at his feet. And we're pulling the plug for now on B.
Furia just working their way slowly back into mid, pressing Koala Noob up. What's this timing going to look like? It's blows! What a shot! Furia just snatch the advantage in the round right back.
And now you've driven a wedge between the defenders. This puts Neon very much on an island at this A side of the map, but Furia aren't convinced that they're done with B just yet.
There's just far too much for LEV to watch, you know, in regard to the different lanes on the map. Look at how spread apart they are across the map. It's just going to come down to individual prowess. What can Sato get done in this choke?
There's crossfire potential with King. He's got a lot of utility to work with. Sato finds one. King might have been smoked off the angle. No, he swings it. Sees Koala Noob come across. The Hunter's Fury could be a bit of an issue, but he's going to TP away from it. And there goes Shy's head, rolling. King down to 11, but he's done his job. He's bought time. The shock dart will claim him, but there has to be a hurried plant. And this will allow Neon to set up wherever he likes on B.
He's not making much noise. Does you expect that he could already be here, already creeping through stairs?
It's got to be too early for him. There's just no way. He's looking over. What? Are you kidding me? Your Masters London MVP just drops the spaghetti. Should be a given any day of the week, and EU can't believe it either.
He doesn't know what happened. He is in just as much disbelief as the rest of us. Another clutch for EU.
Huh?
This one, you just can't explain.
Well, that was a half of Valorant. Leviatán are on their way to dropping as many maps in their first game of VCT Americas Stage 2 than they did on their entire lower bracket run in London. 11-1. Furia are dominant on Sunset, and we can hardly believe our eyes. Stick around. We'll be back after this.
Basic is a name that has been going around for quite some time, but he finally gets to join us here in VCT Americas. And Basic, I know it's been some time, but you're finally joining that squad of Furia. How do you feel finally being here?
Eu estou muito feliz agora de estar podendo representar, né, a Fúria aqui no VCT Americas. É meu sonho e eu vou mostrar o porquê eu vim aqui.
I'm just so happy to be here repping Furia, and I'm ready to show you guys why I'm here.
Thank you so much. Good luck.
Earlier today, Furia's coach Shaw is pretty candid about why he made these changes to the roster. The biggest one is that he values that flexibility above all else. Instead of having a team that's just great in one meta He wants one that can be good in all of them. And a big part of the plan for him was to put Artazine on controller so he could IGL from the pack as opposed to being a loose end across the map, not involved in the action. And he just called an insane attack side.
Damn near flawless. Only round that Lev got on the board was a 1v1 clutch, where Basic just ran out of time. 2 rounds away for Furia to close out their map pick in dominant fashion, coming out of this off-season with a unique and potent look here on Sunset.
Furia haven't tipped their hand so much here. They also don't know how many attack side players were at that wall, as only Neon was hashing. They take a timing here to move down towards tiles. Puts King in a bit of an awkward spot. You can hear the headhunter ringing out from his left shoulder as Neon was also trained on that spot.
That smoke thrown down link from Leviatán over towards A is just to imply that they could be walking up as they want to re-clear towards mid. Maybe just end on that B side of the map. A lot of pressure on Shy. Now back on Haven, Furia were struggling with figuring out when they wanted to play retake on sites or when it was time to hard hold, to anchor. And towards the end of that half, it was Shy left who was kind of putting the pieces together for the team, finding success, anchoring on the Cypher. Can he do it here again?
This cam is set up to watch B main and market respectively. So Shy sees it all coming. It's a bit of a hedge spot for it, and okay! No follow-up for the rest of the team. It's just a one-way. We've seen this kind of play on Sunset for years. Shy is hitting with the old-fashioned 1-2 punch. So far, Lev have not really known how to respond to it. Shy, active on the side, knows his pressure from behind him.
God.
Oh, it's vintage, Wyatt. It's a good year to see Shy pop off again. 3 kills on the pistol, and at this point, Furia's lead is all but unassailable. Yeah, I heard you, bro. I believe you.
Really kind of haphazard entry into the site. Shy exploits. The King is just down to take a duel through the one-way. Gets that free one, but, I mean, the subsequent shots, the snaps with the Ghost were just beautiful.
This goes here.
And this has got to be all she wrote. Lev obviously have to force here. They've got a few stingers. They're going to try to run it down.
Potentially last round of the map, a very short-lived affair here on Sunset. Neon's going to be disrupted a little bit by the wall coming down, and Koala Noob simply has to peer around and let the Bulldog do the talking.
Basic kind of waits with the sonic sensors, throws them down into the site, see if those can get some value stopping Lev, but the peek from Koala instantly punished.
Grab net here for Basic though. Set this off responsively. That would have been sus for EU. There's the grab net. Awkward now for Leviatán. They're going to try and play out from these awkward spots. And it's just Neon left, caught up inside that sonic sensor. And we thought Furia had lost their nerve, but here on Sunset, they've found a bit of vindication. Hard work pays off. And last time these two teams played, it was Leviatán who sent them packing with a 13-1 in the final map. They've got their revenge. Out of Haven, we were convinced this could be a pretty quick affair, and that Furia, understandably, we're still finding their feet with this new look roster. But if there's one lesson to take away from Sunset, it is this. You want to throw a stick in the spokes of a reigning champ still on their victory lap? Get in early in a new map to the pool, devise a plan, and have some insane calling from Artazine. That's exactly what Fury were able to bring together for a stunning 13-1 result.
Fury are in control of this series now. There's no doubt in that. But third map decider, heading over to Split. This is an iconic map in the Lev pool. It's their bread and butter. It's a map that they're on a 5-match win streak right now. They beat Heretics, they beat Vitality, EDG, and Paper Rex here. If Furia have it in them to best Lev straight after their London win on this map, that would be unbelievable.
And it would also be indisputable in terms of their dominance in this matchup out of the gates in Stage 2. No one could argue with it at that point. You've got to beat the best at their own game now.
Getting shades of Artzin and Osbos on Split last year when he picked up the duelist alongside him, was going for a lot of crazy double satchel entries to be that space creator. You have Kuala Noob on his best agent to be able to op on defense. We talked about it so much on Haven, but it's also because Furia talk about it so much. Coach Shaw talks about it so much that for them to win, for them to succeed in this stage, much like kickoff, they need to be able to feed Kuala Noob that off and let him take over the game.
The opener on Split here sees Furia on this attack side. An uncontested B side. They're about to tread all over.
These are exactly the kind of little satchels that Artzin wants to go for, just leaping in on the top box. Furia want to take this forward space. Look at them already posted up in spawn as they try to flood back into this site.
Paranoia does catch Spikes in on the way down, but no one is there to punish him for it. All things considered, he's gotten quite deep and exposes himself to a nasty crossfire. Set up long in advance, but LEV fight through it. Determined to try and undermine it, but Artzin emerges with 2. And King in one of his most impactful roles here on the Viper. We'll have to go for a bit of argy-bargy and get it done the old-fashioned way. EU's not having it. And a great start here for Furia.
Looked like LEV were going to actually be able to do it on that retake attempt. Sato fighting forward, but it's this little bait towards spawn. Feels like they just don't expect Artzin to actually have been there as well. They deal with Kuala Noob and then they just turn attention elsewhere. And that's when Artzin, Duelist and IGL for this team makes his move.
And Controller.
And everything. He did so much for MIBR last year in that regard as well. So many different roles, calling for the team. And he's just thrust into that position here again, but he thrives within it. That pressure does not get to him.
Quite a push-up here for Neon. Look at how deep he has gone. Smoke's going to clear, but the flash is going to give Neon a chance to surge further forward. Relay bolt, Artzin has to respect it. Satchel out. EU now comes to the rescue, but Leviatán got what they came for. They really rattled the cage. Goes in, ducks under the shots here, and best shy on that A extremity.
No gun recovery though. Just the standard to leave your lurker with the pistol. With flows being dealt with this round is as good as done.
Spike planted.
We saw what Furia were able to do when they get into a side early and have crossfire set up. This time they're going to do it with superior weaponry on top.
Just imagine the confidence that they're feeling right now heading into this map. 13-1 blowout against the reigning champions. They win the pistol to start off on Split attack. They are putting themselves in position for a monumental upset.
You come into games like this with a plan, right? You've got protocols. But even you don't know if they're actually going to work. And no plan survives first contact with the enemy, they say. I think that the validation for Furia after such a stunning result on Sunset has made it clear to them that they can hang. Doesn't matter if it is the best team in the region, the world. They come in with an ironclad approach like this, and any given day they can take the dub. Great start to Split, but be reminded, this is Leviatán's playground.
They're just one of those teams that have so much drive, so much hunger. That is really just personified by Kuala Noob, the journey that he's had to get here.
I mean,
like relentless in his pursuit of greatness in Valorant.
There aren't many players in Valorant that are also incentivized to excel because there's a wife and kid to support. It's not something you see from a lot of players. It's pretty rare in esports, in fact. I'd say it's a vocation, a career not built for family building. And when you're the kind of player where virtually your ability to provide hinges on your ability to win, yeah, that is enough to really drive you forward. And that's something that was so striking about Furia in that stage 1, because it was clear no one had done the amount of work that they had. They were perfect for the meta. Sure, it was a good fit, but they were so well drilled, it was astonishing. And we kept saying, this team are so good for no good reason, because of course we couldn't see what had been happening behind the scenes. Low work ethic is never an allegation that's going to stick to this team.
The split map for Fury was one that I was so impressed by the team chemistry on earlier this year, so I just want to see how that continues with this new roster. Is it going to be there? Artson so fast up. Is he going to check that corner? Doesn't even matter because Spike is the one to aggress.
Shy at least though has something to say here. Fury are trying to fight their way into heaven, but they've thought twice about it. They've got enough done, and at least now they've got their jet in onto this A site. They can follow this positioning. Blozine also taken really low, thinking he was safe crossing. Quanoob sees an opportunity to lay him low.
Shy is going to be crucial on this post-plant effort from Furia. They are completely congested in this site. Damage coming through from this molly as well. A position you hate to be in if you're Furia. You have 3 guys, backside screen tucked towards elbow, no space. They're suffocated right now.
Toxin screen down.
Shy here gets to operate as the loose end. Still a lot of responsibility, but he converts. Blozine was already low after being spotted crossing in heaven. And this game is beginning much the same way the previous one did. Neon's just hitting buttons at this point. His round is over. Now that voice can only belong to one man.
Possibly the loudest, but 2 of the loudest players really going at it here. The Sato versus Koala head-to-head. Furia capitalizing off this bonus round. Well, like I mentioned earlier, just so many of these fast double satchels. Artson is hitting in your face right up into ramp. And yeah, even though he doesn't get that entry, he's dealt with by Spike. The team are able to get into the site. And honestly, I think miraculously convert from the positions they were in. That Koala Noob is able to fight in that space where his hands are tied. He doesn't have a lot of movement opportunities, but he's still able to get a multi-kill. You have Shy win that crucial fight, 1v1 over towards ramp. Suddenly everything is going the way of Furia. You go back to map 1, you remember that it was just a highlight reel the entire game until those last several rounds, but you never doubted that LEV were getting it over the finish line. And it was until those last final rounds, every other one, 3K, 4K, players going crazy. They have fallen silent.
We know that Leviatán can bounce back from tough map losses. They got 2 rounds against PRX in the first map of the series in London, in that final. And we're still able to figure it out and overcome one of the best teams, maybe the best of this era of the game. The Furious seems to be a completely different beast. At least today. Important timeout. Leviatán here clearly have a plan to emphasize mid a bit more heavily now. What comes of it?
They'd love to be able to maybe bait for Spike, but no, they want to get aggro. They want to push through that cloud. But it's a very patient Furia who do not get baited into taking any fights there.
It's that hallmark discipline of Fury that we saw in stage 1.
They feel so content just letting that aggression come from LEV and expecting that, yeah, they're probably just going to back off for a moment.
Eventually Fury, though, do need to get going. We saw them run out of time on one of those important rounds on Sunset, one of the few they lost in that. In fact, the only one they lost in that game now, think of it.
Oh, that's so nice.
God, the patience from the man.
Into the nade.
They have literally just provided the sword for Leviatán to fall on here in mid. They have not overextended. They've not taken any huge risks. Let the game come to them, and that is a trade they will take any day of the week. And people are talking so much about this loss streak for Fury. This loss of identity, this necessity to change up the team. But yeah, they lost 5 games in a row, Wyatt. They lost to NRG, 100 Thieves, and Leviatán. Just those guys.
Only the absolute top teams.
So even at their worst, bad enough that Shaw wanted to make changes to this team. In context, it wasn't that bad.
And it just felt strange heading into this with where the roles would fit. That was a massive question mark that people had. Honestly, in this mid-round, I'm just imagining if we had comms on, how EU would be controlling the play there. When we had listenings of the team in situations like that, he was really dictating the pace for them and so accurately calling what the other team was going to do and then exploiting his perfect read on the game. So good in those moments, and I really feel like that was probably one of them.
Leviatán lacking that signature proactivity in these early rounds. They tried a little bit, obviously, to play through mid, but still uncertain, still restrained, and eventually gave that position over entirely. Now that they've got proper weapons to play with, they're trying to be a bit more assertive on that ramp position at least, but Spike will double back to mid to hold that crossfire.
I've loved watching Neon on this map when he switches to the Omen. I think it's a role, a map, and a position on B that highlights how intelligent of a player he is. A nightmare to deal with for the attacking sides. And so far, Furia, they have just circumvented that. They're spamming A hits, and it's working.
Do they opt to just allow themselves to be contained in the A site by not having Heaven present? So they've only got 35 seconds to make this work. So are they going to bum rush onto the side itself? I think we've got our answer. Showstopper now going to get up into the window. Honestly, looking for a target. Blows in, trying to get up close and wasn't ready for that flick around. Trades favor Furia there on ramp. They've got a foothold in Heaven, and the side is under their control. Neon just TPs forward to his own demise, and Sato gets no value out of his run it back.
Freest pair of kills you will ever see.
That was diabolical.
Lev had no expectation that a Furia player would be able to get that deep into the site, all the way through screens. They have just been torn apart. A kill on the TP, a kill on the run it back. I think one of the smartest moments, though, from Furia came from Shy and EU over towards that ramp. You're watching Spike's point of view. You're waiting. Wait, is Shy actually, is he walking through this cloud? Is this going to be a free kill for Spike? No, but he is so patient, bides his time, waits for EU to get there, and then they push through it together. So they get that trade onto him. All of a sudden, they have ramp control, and at the same time, they're pushed through screens with Koala, players in sight, dealing with Lev's aggression through Heaven. They're all over the map. They're dealing with every little contingency.
His Artisan's encounter with Brozine, which really felt like he didn't quite have a read on where that play was going to be. Still found success. And yeah, Kwan way further ahead than they expect. He got a couple of the freest kills imaginable. And there's got to be a timeout here, surely. Looking here to Leviatán with a chance to buy back into the round. I would not say they've got ults of consequence, though, to work with. There was a runner back used in the previous round. King doesn't have a Viper's Pit to shut off any parts of the map.
I think it's really stunning to see this level of team play coming out from Furia with the changes that they've made. Perhaps just a testament to the system that Shaw and Artzin have put in place, the great mid-round calling that we've seen from EU, that they can just slot in two new guys, and it works so effortlessly.
Your Masters London MVP, honestly, still in this series, has looked good, and sure, he leads the pack here in round 6 for his team. I wouldn't say he's lighting anything on fire. This hot prospect dominating the world in London have cooled off drastically over this last map or so. Frosty reception back home. We talked about their target on their back, and Furia are trained on it.
Just waiting for an opportunity, a match opportunity to get that rush again after being knocked out of the EWC qualifiers, knocked out of the playoffs before that. They're making the most of this debut. Koala, though, under the pressure of the flash and is caught immediately. Lev go for that A side fight straight out of the timeout.
Poison's off.
Same approach to ramps that we actually saw from Leviatán in the previous round. This time they actually just, they get what they were looking for. There is Furia presence here that walks into this setup. So yeah, it's a pressure valve, sure, that relieves some of it on Leviatán. But now we move back to this heavy mid-stack. Lever overloading this position with 3 players. We've seen Furia be ultra patient in this spot.
Just waiting to see if there would be any kind of Leviatán re-push down through mid. That's not going to be the case, though. Now they feel comfortable pressing forward. King spotted out. Going to be on the retreat. Just play from stairs.
About now, they're going to accelerate. King going to be spotted out. Gets that first shot now, trying to slow things further, but a snake bite, and that's forced Furia away. Is there a plan C?
Time is getting to an uncomfortably low spot for Furia here. They just got to get into this B site. The LEV players are coalescing just outside of it. They could be ready to pounce on the spike tap. They have enough players here to flood.
This is the window. CT's covered. Yep. Smoke was up and Basics able to get a plant down.
LEV exercising just a little bit of patience. They don't want to overplay their hand, wait for some of these smokes to drop, and then just go for the full retake with the man advantage.
EU is the impact player here. A late flank could be massive. Spike's actually going to go and check for it now.
That's a great seize to catch shot.
EU is still hiding. He's found his spot. Emerges, finds one. It's wayward shot, but now a flash to follow it up might give him a second bite at the apple. And apparently it's gone well sour. Leviatán with great fundamentals, taking a frag, pulling back, finally get into the game.
That early round adjustment of fighting towards ramp, where Furia have been really emphasizing control rather than just kind of holding back towards the box, trying to fight a little bit more passively, excuse me. No, they take it right to them with that instant flash and swing. Sato's trying to keep, I'm going to say, the energy up, or just get the energy up.
Yeah, I think it's probably pretty deflating. You definitely got taken to task by Honor in that timeout.
Fury have won 18 of the last 20 rounds of play. That's as deflating as it gets, but maybe this is the start of LEV coming back into the series.
I mean, if I win 5% of rounds over 20, I'm not feeling great. This time it's an adjustment for Fury. They're conditioned to be a bit more careful about this A-ramp presence, but LEV are not running that early play.
Now, they love to set up with those multiple players in mid. It's really their bread and butter on defense here.
And you can tell that for Fury to get a foothold in Heaven, it's going to take a lot, a big investment. And how this ramp play comes later, and timing that Fury might not be ready for. Here's the flash, and instantly Koala Noob disintegrates. Sato notes that there are extra players there, but no opportunity for a trade for Furia.
That Nightfall was so sick from blows. That caught onto 3 players who were just stuck in that choke. What do they deal with Heartseed? He is pushed up so far. This is mental from him.
They're aware, but they don't really have the health here.
Wow.
I think they're happy to take a trade in that instance.
By the narrowest of margins.
Yeah, you're right. Blue Team barely alive after that. But Fury are no closer to the objective than they were at the start of the round, and they've got 20 seconds left.
Just excruciating for them trying to get out of this A choke. They're up into Heaven. They're down to 13 seconds.
Yeah,
LEV are getting a little wayward, but
LEV are hedging by TPing across the map.
They can't do anything.
Neon TP'd and cancelled as soon as he heard this continued presence here for Fury. They don't really have any options now. They are going to be holed up in Heaven. Yes, they've got the guns, and a big ultimate round coming up next.
Yeah, no one on either side too comfortable to try to go for any kind of fight. Everyone just relaxes for a moment.
It is a far cry from the swagger we saw from Leviatán in Map 1, though. Map 1, LEV would have taken that. Almost certainly. So we've got 2 rounds now. The first in which there's a ramp play that disrupts Furia, gets that early frag. The second round, there is a ramp play, but on an off timing. Right? Comes much later into the round. So that's Leviatán who are able to set up conditioning and then break that conditioning in the space of 2 rounds.
Yeah, act upon it in that right moment in the mid round. First setup in mid, maybe expecting that they go somewhere else, have the trap play there, and yeah, it all works out so well. Finally seeing signs of life from Leviatán. And because of that, just a meager pulse from LEV. Shaw has immediately called the timeout despite being up 5-2, but I respect it. You don't want the London champions starting to feel the momentum. You don't want to allow them to get back in the game. Just continue to try to choke them out early and get another dominant win.
One thing that Furia can hang their hat on, and they've been exploiting, getting a player deep into A side early in these rounds. Koala Noob or Artisan, I think that's a thread that they can continue to pull on a little bit more if they can manage to get their duelists deep in enemy territory.
Leviatán with that same mid trio. Just have that Phoenix and Neon just always working together. Always in tandem on this map.
So this is much more of a standard opener for like a Viper attack side on Split, right? Just send that lurk. Here's a slide. He needs two! Needs two! And unfortunately, Neon is going to be there to pick up the pieces.
It's that spike movement. He's so sick with it. Post nerf just doesn't even matter.
Toxin screen down.
The way he plays as Neon, it looked like that she wasn't nerfed at all, frankly. But how to find ways in his playstyle to compensate.
Yeah, just moving right back to behind the box so he can't get killed. Perfect stun, re-swing from his teammate. It's lovely play from LEV, who continue to just go for these mid-round flash fights. 3 rounds in a row.
But that
has been the recipe to success.
And this is what we teased out at the start of the series, as Leviatán really known for a lot of these set plays. And I'm not talking about complex layered executes on the attack side. It's these little 1s and 2s, these defense side pops. Always a player there to take a trade. You can always trade up in those kind of engagements and abuse Spike's movement there to secure a big win in B main.
Toxins going up.
And it always seems to happen after these timeouts that come in from Ono. He's certainly shaken them awake.
10 seconds
They're
left.
looking much more like themselves now.
Shy just needs to hold on to this gun so Furia can get together a full buy on the next. The economy is beginning to get shaky, but loss bonus kicking in at just the same time.
Made his debut at Masters Copenhagen back in 2022 and then attended champs in that same year with Leviatán, who were quickly started to become a little bit of a global sensation. And honestly, it's taken to about now for them to really stick that and turn that into a big result.
So many different formations of that team throughout the years. The one through line, King. And he's finally been able to get a roster around him to take a championship trophy. We were talking about what the continuation of that might just be, you know? That's just chapter 1. How far can they take it? This Furia team, they want to end that story right here. Neon on the defense. Perfect timing with the paranoia. The support from King is lovely.
Yeah, basic fighting in the site, but it didn't look like there was an overarching plan, just to stand and shoot mentality. So pretty bit of a sloppy start here for Furia. They tried to lean in to be a little bit more heavily these last couple of rounds. Just go for a straight up hit.
It's one of the reasons you do not want to test Neon on that site. He plays it so well. His timing with the paranoia just always feels perfect. He never expends it at that wrong moment where they're trying to bait it out. It's always when there is real pressure coming onto him. And he knows the moment's always when to get out, where to TP. He really is just so smart there.
Furia at this stage of the round with very little time left are hoping to just exploit a big gap here. Leviatán commit pretty heavily towards this B side of the map, and Furia, while they might not realize it, have the run of this A site. Being very slowly, diligently checked here, cleared now by Artazine.
Spike thrown over to him so he can plant for heaven, where you have Kuala Noob as the first contact, Shy to take contact even later. That got the showstopper up. So there are tools for Furia to use.
It's Spike's
by the way.
again.
Nerf, by the way.
Could have fooled me. 3 players up rope here, a chance for a double swing off a good timing. Not too shabby, but not quite enough. King notches up 4 to give Leviatán another very important round. They're up to 4.
It was a good effort from Artazine, but LEV just have the numbers in that situation. And I like that they made that effort to have all those players go through vent, through ropes. It's a good way to clear out one of Furia's potential win cons, which is just leaving someone way back there. You're expecting they're going to probably plant for heaven in that situation. So You're just ready to deal with a player that's going to wait all round and then try to shoot you while you're down on the site.
What's your current best team in the world that are certainly being forced to dig deep here against Furia? A retooled new look roster that frankly weren't highlights of stage 1. And that should tell you about the depth of what awaits a team like Leviatán on their campaign to secure a champion's berth. Many such cases of teams licking their lips to have a crack at the Kings.
Basic was the absolute MVP of Map 2, putting up 20 kills for 6 deaths. Hasn't made a lot of noise so far on Split. Maybe this could be his round as Furia just want to go back to basics, get into this A site. It's where they had the majority of their success earlier in this half.
This round is going better for Furia. They're not punished by a random timing down ramp. They repel it. They've got good position. Sada might be a problem now as he's going to walk up under that ult, but Arzin got to be good for the shot. Now slowly, Leviatán considering whether they give up this heaven control. Can they afford to do so? There's no site presence though. The difference here is Leviatán have got Spike embedded here. Can play a crossfire with Blozine.
Furia's only real option is to just wait out the smokes, cut noise, go for the re-hit. No players elsewhere. Shy just watching their flank. Comes Artzin with a showstopper, but no chance to even shoot it.
And pretty limited follow-up now. It's belated, this push off of ramp here for Furia. They've got to make some impact in heaven and soon. Blozine still unbothered playing this spot, but Qualanoob's found his second. They don't account for Blozine being tucked. But now we're even in numbers and the spike's been recovered. Time is of the essence. Less than 10 seconds, but Shy turns up. And Neon would hope to disrupt. He'll be not quite quick enough as Qualanoób will get everything, including the kitchen sink.
Shy just so delayed. He was on flank watch, but then gets the perfect moment to get back into heaven and get a critical kill for Furia to take that round over the finish line. And it begins with that as well. The Sato kill on Artzin is crazy.
But isn't this another example of Qualanoób with no room to work with, coming out with a multi-kill that slants around in his team's favor?
Absolutely.
He's Houdini in there.
Once you get him on the jet, he is at his best. This guy has 8,500 rounds of jet in officials in his career history. That is ridiculous.
Can you imagine how many Let's Go boys that is?
At least maybe 4,000 or 5,000. It's crazy.
At that point, it's the equivalent of an opera singer's vocal training. Okay, limited mid presence as a smoked top mid. But that snakebite is more than enough to dissuade Furia for the time being, but only for a time. Here's the push paranoia coming a little bit late, but Basic's got to turn his attention towards mid. And that Bulldog bites back. Tidy little two-piece picked up, knocking Leviatán down to 3 players.
Now that's a moment where he really makes a mark on this split game. Basic getting involved in a major way with that transfer. With a Bulldog, no less, is crazy. Leviatán, though, they know where to go. Look at Neon. He's pushed all the way out of B, so they do have 2 players on this site. What can Blows and King accomplish? They try to both get in, entrench themselves.
Blows has bought some time, but this is absolutely a concession of heaven from Leviatán.
30 seconds left.
The Fury will oblige. They will walk right up on in.
They slow down. No cancel, no attempt to go towards that B side. 20 seconds to get into the site. Blows back here.
Is there more stall here for Leviatán? Can they make this excruciating now? Drop to the site. There's going to be a plant. Arzin has a lot of covering fire. Shy's been brought down. Spike stick.
That hasn't been planted. Artzin is just way too afraid.
Trying to give his team an opportunity. He takes the fight inside, and there never was a plant. Arzin second guessing, maybe?
Yeah, when that action was coming through towards heaven, I believe he just got very apprehensive to stick. Thought that someone would be able to swing onto him.
It was the smoke. I think he was worried someone would just run in there.
That was a ridiculous little mid-round play.
He was right, in fairness.
Brutal one for Furia to lose, though. Lev on the precipice of tying up this half. They are bloody and bruised, but still fighting.
Dashing into the side. This is going to be Qualanoób very early in position. The weapons are fine, but not great.
Yeah, the ones you want to close the gap with, though. That's why you're seeing that speed. Koala wanted to get deeper towards screen, but the plan is, let's wait to get that Viper's Pit and then maybe take the space. But they're not even doing that. They are all stuck in elbow. They got out of this situation in the pistol round, I believe. Can they do it again?
Sato is going to test the pit, try and make some space. Oh my goodness! There goes the Viper's Pit, and 2 players are knocked down. That's 4 kills inside and running back. He's already on his feet.
It was stunning to end the half. Crush Furia's hopes. And the score may be tied, but it feels like with a play like that, with a half-ender like that, LEV are almost coming into the second one with the lead, just emotionally in terms of the momentum.
I mean, that is a psychological wound that you may not have the time in a half break to remediate. Brutal stuff from Leviatán as they break into an even game in the most vicious way possible. Stick around, folks, because no one knows how this is going to end. I can only guarantee you it's going to be with fireworks. Well, he may have played third fiddle to Kiko and Zekin in the Phoenix stats in Stage 1, but when he touched down in London, this guy set the world on fire. Sato rocketed to the top of our Phoenix metrics at that event and clearly has not skipped a beat. Talk about a haymaker of a round to put yourselves right back at parity in that last round of the half.
We're going to need to see this retooled Furia roster display some serious resolve. Yes, the score is tied. It could go either way. But the fashion in which that half ended, it's a moment where the momentum is just captured for LEV. And it creates this environment that they thrive in, where they're getting excited, they're out of their seats. That is a hallmark of their team as they switch to this attack side.
Off the rip here, we can already see it brewing. That's a lot of flashes. Fury here trends back a little bit. They want to hold on to that util. But they are determined to fight again for this space. This is far from done. Neo, though, is going to take Koala down. He's supposed to be the tip of the spear. Good paranoia, but the follow-up just wasn't there.
The reactive bolt from Spike to deny the swings, get that stun onto the Furia players who wanted to aggress off the pop flash was just so well timed.
Now you're gasping for air as Furia. Your early round gambit doesn't pay off. You're cut down to 3 players to spread across the entirety of this map, and there's a noise cut from your opponent, so you don't even know where the next hit comes from. It's excruciating.
King is getting a lot of space over towards the A side of the map. Is there a call to leave? Yeah, looks like that's going to be the case.
Sell a little bit, rattle the cage a little longer. They don't transition through mid because they've not got information about it, and this lets Shy potentially get in a position to hear some of this.
They have to go that safe route, but they've given Spike the Spike on purpose so he can get there quickly over towards A. King has retained that forward spot.
Yeah, that spot could unravel this round.
10 seconds left.
Shy could be critical, though, if Furia could get back into this.
It's just Bozino, who's already low in health and kind of knows there's something afoot here. Sharp shooting from Shy. Always quick on the mark, and he's found a second one. Man. I mean, you foreshadowed it. We are in a post plant, though.
He has been stunning with the Ghost. Insane taps.
Oh, he's crossed his one to that corner. Neon doesn't know where he come from.
Oh my god, man, he's ruthless.
There's no way that Fury bounce back off this.
Cover going out.
Basically with a one-way over to the side. Shy's going to lead the way. 40 health is not much to write home about, but man, he's still getting damage done. Spike low, Artazine! Had to land the plane. Unfortunately, that's the kind of turbulence that only the Sea Kraken can provide. Leviatán feeling a little bit fortunate to get out of that round unscathed, I think.
You saw the frustration, the anger from Artazine losing that.
One enemy remaining.
Shy's been waiting all year to get back on the VCT stage. He's making the most of it. He's putting them in position to win that round from a disadvantage, but it's just not enough. 2 brutal round losses back to back. The end of that first half when Sato gets the run it back 4K, and now there to feel like an unwinnable round was right back in their hand, only for it to slip through their grasp. Again, it's this mental resolve being tested of this new team. Do they have it in them to stay in this game?
All right, got a slight mouse issue here. Is there a way to get back into the game? You can almost see that look on Shy's face at the end of that last round, realizing he had an opportunity to play spoiler to the ones that got away, so to speak. There's an alternate universe where he stays on that Leviatán team, and these last few years look very, very different. seeing these chatty youngsters getting up, riling the crowd up. Shy a bit more of that reserve kind of player, looking across and going, my story's not over yet, guys. I still got a lot to do, and it starts here by doing the funniest thing ever. By disrupting you guys with this all-new look Furia team. That'd be a bitter pill to swallow for Leviatán fans, and for Furia, it's extra motivation to go the distance. Not only in terms of the series, they've done that, they've taken us to a decider. Going all the way on Split is well and truly still on the table.
No matter what happens here today, in terms of the result, I think everyone will be walking away from it, though, really impressed by Basic on his debut. This is a baptism by fire. He's going up against the London winners in his first match, and he destroyed them in a 13-1 win. That is how you make your mark on the scene.
It's a vindicating moment, and also the realization that these guys aren't so tough. Like, you probably, to some degree, pedestalize your opponents, especially global champions coming back, but being reminded that they are mortal, they can bleed just like anybody else in the server. Furia have done enough to have a seat at this table, well and truly.
Every team on defense that goes up against Lev, they're so ready to do something to kill them in B main, and it just doesn't work. It just never works.
Leviatán don't really see anything from that exchange, but this is quite telling, right? A flash. They'll surmise that there's an omen here, right? Basic could have TP'd across at any point or just walked it. Artazine wants that orb, though. Neon's going to make it costly. He's down to 40. This is a Furia without any weaponry to speak of. It really is a full save, with the exception of a bandit there in Shy's Chorus.
This is really one of those maps, though, that does highlight just how Lev are one of those teams that even if you know what they're doing, they have such an unbelievable skill level that you can't stop them. How many teams have we seen try to seriously counter their play towards B main, and it just never gets unraveled? They're always so good at handling anything that comes their way there. It's why they've beaten anyone they went up against at London. All of the top teams globally could not stop them here. Fury have really made a good go at it so far.
I mean, time and again, we saw the theory of teams like Heretics, Vitality, EDG, PRX about how to deal with that B push just fall apart in real time. Leviatán could always intuit a response or an adjustment to allow that part of their playbook to still be effective against anybody, no matter where they come from.
Well, that bandit's coming into play, close range. One tap onto blows, but Neon gets the trade, so no further economic damage, at least suffered, by the hands of Shy. And Lev will be getting out of here relatively unscathed.
Okay, that opens up this game a little bit more now in the second half. Leviatán certainly rewarded for the very strong pistol round that we saw. Sato now with that run it back, so an opportunity here to make that big push even more deadly. Get in there, clear for free.
Defining moment of this map. In that first half, Furia were able to win the pistol into the bonus round. Full control of the game. Furia have suffered some tough round losses across the last 4. Can they stop this bonus round right now? Spike is immediately deep into this site, and it's just a full retreat from the defenders.
Oh, Sato there. He's got to be repelled, but he got his job done. Artazine ends up with a bomb buddy, knocking him out of ult.
How far do Lev want to take this? Fight into spawn, Prowler, the slide, the flash. It's all so good, but it just forces Furia back. No opportunity for a Leviatán kill, but it will force Furia to have to re-clear this space. It could get awkward.
With what? They just got to check it. This is more time bled off the clock. Walking into what's certainly going to be a crossfire. This Neon position is so pivotal right now. Sees the jump over the top of his head. It's not going to be checked for. It's Artazine going down. Now eyes on basic as he tries to come out. 3 for Neon. And Shy might still have what it takes. King versus Shy. The two that put Leviatán on the map. A score to settle, you better believe it. Shy will get the kill, but not the round.
That time on the clock wasted comes into play. Neon's position was perfect. The rest of the team making all of the noise, creating all of the pressure. And with that cloud up towards heaven, he's just able to stay out of view of anyone coming back in. Waits for the drop, picks the perfect moment, and collects a beautiful trio of kills. This has really sent Furia reeling. Shy has that gun, of course, carrying it over from staying alive. But other than that, what can Furia piece together on this round?
Seas comes down. Every time respectively, they're still frothing, they're still looking for a chance to break through. Blazeball thrown out, but they don't tease any defenders out of position with it.
That is just your standard Leviatán opening. With the wall, with the default smoke.
They have conceded a large amount of mid control, though. All right, there's Neon just waiting around for more. This paranoia is so off-timed. No chance to follow it up there. Kuala Noob eventually has made this push out on the B side of the map, but the game has long since gotten away from him. This spike is headed over towards A, and there's no one from Furia really left to stand in their way.
With all this time on the clock, it's giving opportunity for Sato to get right within touching distance of another ultimate. Might go hunting if he really wants to. He has been playing a phenomenal Phoenix in this game. I think you have to say he's the best Phoenix in the world right now, after what we saw him do in London. And it's one of those agents where you really do just snowball so hard. As soon as you start popping off, you're getting more kills. You're just sequencing that into ults. And it can start to feel like you're just unstoppable. Doesn't matter that he dies there, gets the ult. That was the mission anyway.
The gun in EU's hands, though, will be stripped away. Leviatán, though, get to 10 rounds. A shakier start than they were maybe expecting to their Stage 2 campaign, but they get ever closer just to putting that notch in their column, getting that dub, and getting past the team that gave them far more trouble than they bargained for.
They've had a great showing so far. We saw them bounce back from a Map 1 loss into a Map 2 dominant showing. Do they have what it takes right now to get back in this game right now? Crucial buy round. Kuala Noob finally gets that operator, and he immediately makes use of it.
Saw the same thing on Haven, right? When he gets the drop on him on A long there, finding that first pick and falling back, that is massive for Furia.
Yeah, this Furia team on Split, any iteration of the roster, they really excel at getting him into positions to get kills. They set him up perfectly. Now it's time for the retake. A Leviatán down a man, but trying to control Heaven. That's where they want to find their advantage. And Neon is sharp with it.
Barely a break in stride for Neon. Spike feels a bit extraneous to this whole thing now with that overdrive in play, but here's Shy again, pops up. Always the Jester, always a problem. King, though, knows him almost as well as he knows himself. Now the 2v1, but King is not in a great spot. Yeah, Crossfire he's got to respond to. EU, okay, it's way with its ham-fisted, and it falls apart. Koala Noob just stands there, and he gets it! Are you kidding me? In the final seconds, Koala Noob sticks the defuse? Huh.
Might not be enough time for any kind of replay package that could really give a coherent picture of what was going on there. That was...
One enemy remaining.
I mean, Shy gets like the accidental lineup 2K. EU almost did a Neon from the last map where Neon missed him. I mean, just the reverse of that, yeah.
Pretty whack around, but as the dust settles, it's a Furia dub.
Crucially, though, look at their cash. If they lose this round, it's got to be worth 2. That's certainly Lev getting up to match point.
No bravado early on here for Furia on this B side. They just smoke it and fall back. The weapons are a little bit how you going. Banu's Blade Storm, okay, Value Town! The Jets really come alive here. Shy's able to find his one. It's on King and Sato now to make their way into the site. Sato already building to yet another big ultimate. That showstopper will claim him. Here come Furia. As it turns out, they're far from done.
Sato couldn't get the best of arts in that time. Little revenge from the last time he went up against the showstopper and got that instant headshot.
Their economy was teetering, Wyatt.
That was the critical round of this second half. Felt like that round would have been the game if they had lost it. Just getting Lev on the match point, but no. They win in the face of the Nightfall coming their way, that run it back coming their way.
Nice! We got this shit, boys.
Sato on that re-entry. He gets 2 kills off the pressure previously created. But it's Lev now who are on that weak buy.
These Shy lurk timings, man, they're just ridiculous. Multiple rounds with multi-kills.
Now, Lev have been putting a lot of emphasis of trying to plant for Heaven, get up into that space, but right now they have no space to speak of unless they try to get through screens. That's the plan with the Prowler. Furia don't even care about that area of the map right now.
Okay, Artisan gun down there. Looks like that occurred over in towards Rafters. Random spam there, maybe down from the site. Seeker's available here for EU.
Yeah, that could spot out players in the pit to get spammed, but it doesn't seem like they're getting used.
Koala Noob is into the pit, sees Neon first somehow. Ducks back out to heal. Needs to find another way to get in there. Blozine just playing on the corner, catches him out here. Sato again! Big delivery! And there it is, Leviatán again, another very important round to take.
They have a knack for winning so many rounds like that. Lose a gun round, next one, all right, just instant slam a site. And they are just always potent with anything in their arsenal. Neon gets up into that smoke. But it's that decision to get the pit down and take the space towards screens. It really contrasts the last round of the first half where Furia found themselves in a similar situation, but they didn't really push for more space. They stayed congested on that site. And that's Lev being able to do the opposite and create some new avenues of approach after they get the spike down. I'm surprised that those Seekers never really came out from EU. Would have expected those to have kind of been brought out earlier just to spot people in the pit, maybe get some spam off, but I suppose from his point of view, he just never felt like there was a comfortable moment to get it accomplished with them. Tough round loss.
Shy's leading right now for Furia. 17 kills, 13 deaths. Obviously quite a record to his name. He's featured on every major LATAM team with the exception of Loud, I guess, over these last few years.
Been in the league every year of VCT.
Yep.
Which is why it was really shocking to not see him find a home with anyone. One of the best free agents available. He's showing exactly why.
Sato, they're taking a chance to get the crowd fired up. Leviatán now with some momentum off that previous round. Cost them a bit though. The Viper's Pit was committed to that fight, but Sato has yet another run it back.
Just an endless string of those from him. Always getting plants, always collecting the orbs, and he's frying right now. So that really helps the most when you're just getting a 2K every single round. That adjustment, the snap to the Heaven player on the last one was ridiculous.
He has to do it to basically cancel out Shy's impact, who's found like 2 and 3s in many of these rounds, finding insane lurk timings.
Now, he was a player too last year, if you remember, it was his Yoru that was so standout. He was phenomenal on that agent, but across the other duelists, he wasn't really finding his footing to the same level. Well, obviously Yoru is no longer relevant, but he has absolutely just found a new home on this Phoenix. And when he's had to play Raze, he's been much better there as well than he was, I think, in contrast to last year. Just becoming a more whole player.
When we covered him in Ascension on Glories, he was a Jet player, you know? He has adapted and evolved so much in his young career. 30 seconds left. Leviatán letting the clock trickle down, but it's only going to be Shy here at the site with nothing but a bandit. How's this going to play out? Well, we've seen the weapon be well apportioned in his hands so far, and that was no exception, but decayed to 1 makes him easy prey for Sato.
Not a lot of options here for Furia. Economic damage,
not
particularly important. Sato just wants to ensure that this round gets closed out. Well, he got the info. He definitely got the info.
Suffice to say, he knows where Furia are right now. There's some fight to be had on the side, but the weapons are just not suited for that kind of range. King with the edge. Flash for Sato, and a flourish to end the round. 22 frags.
This is King's, I think, best map right now in the pool. It's the one where he just destroyed EDG, dropped 24 kills for 11 deaths in London. He's turning up here as well when Lev need him to be that guy when they're about to close out this game. Furia don't want the narrative of this to be, they put up a respectable performance. They look really good. That's not going to be enough for them.
Objectively not a bad highlight to come out of this game with, but they want more.
They feel so winnable.
Yeah. Yeah, they felt like they touched glory
when they know they could have done it. And maybe they still can. Artsin in mid. It gets the trade, but the spam from Blazine is just perfectly placed. And it's an early advantage in the numbers for Leviatán. And that could be enough for them to close out this series.
Fury now have to play this very important round from a player down. They're pretty well equipped. EU's still holding on to those Seekers. Maybe an opportunity to use them here and speak of the Devil Cabbages, and they doth appear.
So much time on the clock, though. Does it really give a strong indication of the plans the Leviatán are going to lay? Man, it felt shaky there for a moment. Are they really going to come back and lose their first series to the retooled Furia? Serious upset potential.
It does feel like they've come down to earth here. Definitely shaken awake by the level in this region. Neon there with some info on the A side. Does see a fair bit of an EU here, though, fighting for his life. Koala Noob's able to chime in with the op. He's playing deep on the A side. And Leviatán aren't committed to this. They might slink away with the spike and go elsewhere. That certainly seems to be the plan for Neon.
He's got that teleport. Gets quickly into heaven. He'll be all good on this plant. What a great rotation. The spike recovery. Koala Noob and Basic. 2 versus 2 to stay alive in this series. Keep the hopes of a monumental upset alive. Up against the Rookie of the Year, the London MVP, and the longest standing member of this Leviatán team.
Oh, there's no trade potential there. King was on his own and he knew it. But now Neon has the info. Whereas Basic has to try and glean it himself in these dying seconds. Over the top. Your Masters London MVP fights purchase! And championship teams aren't defined by the hype, the silverware, the title. It's by the rounds they refuse to lose. And while Furia found answers against Leviatán all series long, it's your Masters London champions who find the final word.
highlighted on their iconic split map. Sato and Neon both dropping 20+ kills there. For a moment, it felt like the upset could have been real, more than real. Furia with that destruction of LEV on Sunset, the 13-1. Basic, insane debut map there, going 20 for 6. And yeah, you are walking away from this thinking, well, this Furia team, there's definitely something to them. This was more than a respectable showing. Basic's first time hitting the stage looked good. Shy on the return looked good as well. It just wasn't enough today against Leviatán. Too formidable an opponent. Shaky for a moment, but they haven't lost a step since that Masters London win.
And again, a reminder for Leviatán what they had to fight through to get to London in the first place. And now they're going to continue to rub shoulders with America's best to forge themselves into a team that can take the biggest title of the year, that can rise to become champions.